let's see. Looks like we're live.
All right. Good morning, afternoon, or evening, or whatever have you. Welcome to our stream for D&D. So, who wants to give a recap as to what happened the last time we were able to play?
Oh dear. So I guess I'll do it if that's okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
So to start off with, we at uh we ended up waking up in the tunnels last time. After taking watch and sleeping for a little bit to regain everything. We wandered down a little ways and found a forge. Some of us decided to start up the forge, some of us continued exploring. Eventually, we ended up in the kitchen, I believe, where there was a giant spider. I cast Comprehend Languages and could hear it chattering about eating us. Um, we fought the giant spider and its three mini hordes of babies. It complained about us killing them and then said, "Oh well, I have more." That was foreboding. Um, we killed it, killed the babies, baby spiders. We ended up getting meeting some dwarves who came down a rope, who apparently were coming down to kill said spider because it had,
Her name was Sheila, right?
yeah, Sheila.
Something like that.
Because Sheila had killed their dwarf brotherin. Yeah. Um, talked with them for a little bit. They ended up guiding us to a maze of tunnels that we somehow managed to get through. Um, which led us back to essentially where we started, right on this side of the cave in. So honestly, we could have taken the easy way and just backtracked rather than going through the flippin' maze. Um, went through, or went further towards the cave in, found a side tunnel, went through the side tunnel to be attacked by goblins on both sides, decimated them, ended up coming out near the mid or top of the crag or the mountain. Uh, I cast Featherfall. We ended up jumping. I landed in a tree, took a couple d4 damage. Um, y'all,
The rest of us landed in water.
yeah, the rest of you landed in water. Y'all were dripping wet and came out. We ended up basically breaking the lock on the gate to the hunting lounge or lodge.
And
Uh,
then kicked a hole in the door, and then now we are inside. Also, was that the same session that I had first appeared, or
yes.
Yes, it was actually. Yes, Deadeye appeared out of thin air, got caught in spider webs. The party found him, and then you all kind of introduced yourselves to each other.
howdy?
And then y'all found the mining camp, which had the forge and the kitchen and barrack, and then the story went on from there. So
Mhm.
now our party finds itself now inside the walls of the hunting cabin. And with this, here is where we begin our tale.
Okay.
All right. So, as you enter into the hunting cabin, you are able to see a large hall, of which is at the end there is a large, large fireplace, and many tables and chairs are strewn about. Some of the chairs and tables are on their sides, covered in dust, cobwebs. Everything looks dirty, dusty, and almost untouched after many years. And with this, we are brought to our first page. If it wants to change, come on. Here we go. Wait. Eh. Been a little second or two since we've been here. 1 minute. Here we go. There we go. Inside, you are able to see a long hall of which there are some doors on the side, doors in the back, as well as a staircase that leads going up. There is a large chimney in the back end of the hall that seems to have a large roasting fire spit inside of this gargantuan fireplace. In the main center of the hall, there is a long, singular wooden table with benches leading all around and then side tables along the walls of the room. Many of the windows that cover alongside the west side of or left side rather, of the wall are covered in large green curtains. There is a banner on the right side that is a large green banner that depicts a deer head surrounded by thorns and wolves, seemingly gnawing at the deer's throat. So, what does the party wish to do?
Can I inspect how, like, has this been lived in for, or no? I guess my real question is, how very recent has this place looked lived in? I guess.
The place is covered in dust and cobwebs.
Okay,
Doesn't
so
look
it seems
lived
to
in
be
for a long time.
abandoned. It seems abandoned. All right.
uh,
And Sam?
I was gonna say, a couple of us have already been here. Be careful.
Yeah, I was just about to.
This place is strange. Has some weird stuff in it. Also, we know that it's been at least 6 months since someone's lived here.
This is where Tifusus is from.
Who the hell is Tifusus?
I'm gonna pull out the jar of Tifusus in it.
In this jar, you are able to see it is about a 2-foot tall jar with a brass lid. Inside the jar is a swirling gray liquid that seems to churn and move of its own accord. Inside the gray liquid, you are able to see a pinkish mass of flesh, teeth, and mouths, with one singular gaping eye.
Oh, well, that's not disturbing.
I told you.
It's my pet.
That's your pet,
It is.
and
Yeah.
you got it from here.
Yeah.
Told you this place has some weird stuff. Let's just hurry up. We need.
All right. Well, I'm
We need
gonna.
to sleep, and I think this place has some more secrets we should find. Especially if it had that thing.
I'm gonna start the fire at the chimney thing, and try and get like a camp set up, I guess.
Absolutely. Okay, so what you see in the fireplace, you are able to see that there is a large, not brazier, but mainly a log grill that is set inside of the fireplace. This would be like a metal grid or grill that would hold a bunch of logs. There is several logs set to the side, but all covered in dust and very dry.
The drier, the better. Throw some logs in, and then use the tinderbox in my adventurer's kit to turn it on
Absolutely.
or light it, I
Be
guess.
careful. This wood is too dry. It'll go up like crazy.
That'll be fine.
Well,
Absolutely.
at least we know that he didn't get half his body dead from being careful. I want to do investigations, see if there's any books or such around here that could tell us what this lounge was used, what this place was used for.
Absolutely. There are several rooms. There are some along the right side of the hall, adjacent to the windows across the way, as well as 2 doors that are inside or on the back end of the room. Aside from that, in between the two doors leading to the 2 rooms and the chimney is a stairwell that goes up. Is there any place you'd like to check first?
Does this place have like a library?
Quite possibly.
I'll go.
Okay. What's your character's name, Sam? Oh, it is Sam. You literally have it on there. Sam, how extensively did y'all really search this place?
There were only 2 of us, and we didn't have a lot of time. We searched and then left the moment things got weird. Now that we have a bigger group and people actually willing to help, supposedly, we can do a more in-depth research of this place and figure out what it was actually used for, because I doubt it was for hunting if that thing was here.
Can I make a history check on the banner if anybody else doesn't know what it is already?
Absolutely.
We don't.
Don't? Alright, I'll roll for it then. I got a 10.
With that 10, you don't truly recognize the symbol or iconography on the banner.
Nope. Don't really know these people. Alright. Alright, I'm going to, let's see. I'm gonna head up the stairs and check out what's over there. If we wanna all head up as a group, or if we wanna try and split up and try and see if we can cover more ground.
I'm looking for an office or a library.
Quite possible.
Well, the only way you're gonna be able to find anything is if we start searching. So I'm gonna head up the stairs.
Absolutely. As
I'll
you
follow
begin-
right behind him.
All right.
Yeah.
Can I
So
roll,
you're all gonna go as a group then?
I guess we'll all go as a group, going upstairs to
Can
see
I
what's
roll-
up there.
Absolutely.
investigation to find a library or a study?
You certainly may. As you begin to go up the stairs, you are able to see that along some of the stairs there are shelves and cubbies that are placed every so often inside the wall of which the stair is mounted onto. Some of the books and some of the iconography and pictures that are inside some of the frames and shelves, they seem to be of, well, they're books to say the least, but they seem to be of an older hardback copies, many of which are leather, several of which are wood for the hardback. And just like the rest of their surroundings, covered in cobwebs and dust.
I'm gonna kick, just real quickly, just any drawers I'm passing by, I'm gonna quick just pull them open, see what's inside. If they're all just kind of like books, I'm just gonna close it back up. But if anything like piques my interest, I'm gonna like just open up every single drawer.
Roll investigation real quick then.
A fucking 8.
With that, the most interesting thing you see is an old piece of silverware, a leftover fork and spoon.
I'll grab it. Is it made of silver?
Roll investigation.
Okay. Important question. Is it silver? 15.
With that, you are able to see that despite it being dirty and a little old and covered in its own layer of dust and grime, after a quick little wipe, you are able to see the familiar shine of silver,
Ooh, I'm gonna keep that on hand.
each of which are about a silver piece worth of coin.
It's I'm not worried about it being used for coin. I want to see if I can use it to like melt it and make it into a like silver metal.
Possible, but
All right.
small
If
amount.
that is possible, I will just add that small amount into my inventory and just keep that as a reminder.
I would say going forward, like with that little bit, that small amount would only be good for like the tip of a weapon, such as a small spear or an arrowhead, with that much metal.
I'm thinking about maybe crafting silver bullets.
Absolutely. You should be able to get about one out of that.
Okay. Yeah, I should be able to tinker when we do our rests and making bullets.
All right. But with this, yes, Sai, or Vardak.
I would like to keep an eye out for where I found Tiphys's while we're walking about.
You remember that up these stairs, there is a study that you found Tiphys's in one of the cupboards. So you're going in the right direction if you want to find the former home of Tiphys's.
All right.
He was in a cubby?
Cupboard.
Oh, a cupboard.
But as you go up, there are these drawers and shelves containing books and some picture frames, in some of the frames, you are able to see pictures of wildflowers, certain types of game. But can I have everyone roll a perception check, please?
Absolutely.
7.
I got a nat 1.
Um.
7. Oh,
Oh.
Oh, and a nat 20.
absolutely. With that. And Zargish, for you?
I'm having a hell of a lot of trouble logging into D&D Beyond. Can I just roll a D20 for the interim?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
All right, D20 plus. What's y'all's average plus modifier on that?
I have
mean,
a.
If you don't have one, or if you can't readily access it, just roll like normal, I suppose.
I rolled
Oh.
a D1. Or I rolled a 1, yeah.
Joke's on you.
Let's just
Okay,
go and say
so-
I did not pass that one.
That's interesting.
Absolutely.
2 nat 1s.
But anywho, those of you who did not roll natural one, or rather Vardak especially, as you continue to climb up these stairs, it's about a 3-story climb that reaches up into a tall area. As you begin to go up and up, you begin to see that more of the picture frames, they no longer show wild game, or at least none of the classical variety. You see figures of twisted shapes, elongated horns, and large claws of various beasts.
Are you saying that this is contrary to what we remember seeing before?
This time around, you saw it. Last time, you didn't.
Okay.
The natural 20 says so. Or at least you were able to notice it and pick it apart compared to last time.
Does he like?
But-
Are you gonna like point that out?
Yeah.
If you do, can I maybe, since I'm where I'm from, can I see if I recognize the beast?
Yeah, I'm just gonna turn to the rest of you guys. It's like, do any of you actually recognize these animals?
Would that be a Arcana check?
That will be a choice between an arcana or a history check, depending on what you choose.
I'd rather do. I have
Not
better
nature?
Arcana.
Can I do Arcana?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Anyone can make this pass if they so wish, as it has now been pointed out.
Oh no, don't make me answer my own question.
Okay. And Zargish, for you, would you like to just roll a d20?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm in the process of solving the problem. I'll fix it.
Okay. All right.
Hell yeah.
So, Bardak, you seem to be the only one that recognizes a tale or two of these creatures, as you've heard and sang about a tale or two of some of these creatures. Some of the descriptions match up with an old tale, one of which you recognize near instantly as a werewolf. Others you are able to see as just beasts of various calibers and such.
Oh,
Yeah.
these aren't normal hunters.
All
What were
right.
they hunting?
More like monsters.
Those-
Monster hunters.
Yeah.
So too far off. Mom.
And Sam, you're saying?
The books that we pass, I'd like to stop. The group can keep going, but I'd like to stop and open them and try to look at them, see if they document any idea what happened here, if they're hunting logs or if they're just stories or something.
Absolutely. Okay. So, as you begin to look through some of these books, you're able to see that some of which are catalogs of various plants, flora, and fauna, and some of which are local wild animals. Some of these are encyclopedias, and a number or two are tales and recollections of various hunts that have happened throughout the history of this hunting cabin. There is, however, roll perception.
Ugh.
There is more and more books, but one of which does happen to catch your eye.
Okay.
Inside, you are able to see, in this book, is a minor detailed list of monsters. Would you care to open this book?
The
Yes.
monster manual.
Absolutely. With this, you are able to flip through some of the pages, and you are able to see pages depicting several different types of monsters and other things that are to be wary and worrisome to many those that travel amongst the woods. One creature in particular catches your eye, one of which is a vampire.
Hold
Oop.
the phone. What?
And
Is that you actually freaking out?
that. Oh, there we go.
No, not the character. But what? Did you just say vampire?
I did, and the picture I pulled up is not showing up. Whoop. Here we go. Lair. Token lair. Grab.
That is tiny as heck.
I need to grab it first. It's not letting me grab.
Should have like put it into the black space on the right or bottom.
That would have been good too, yeah. It's simply not allowing me to grab it. Whoops.
Well, dang. Can you delete it and then paste it?
Okay.
Putting it down here.
And token lair, and then grab. There we go.
Did that. Alright, yay. Ooh! That's an old description of vampires.
Okay. Other such creatures lie within, such as mermaids as well.
Okay,
Okay.
these are the mermaids that devour humans. Not
Well,
the
that's
pretty little mermaids.
No, wait, that's the wrong one. Never mind.
These are Pirates of the Caribbean mermaids.
Yes. There you go.
Uh,
Have you
I'm-
mentioned this to any of the group at all, or are you just kind of discovering this
I'm
quietly?
discovering it, and then I'm putting the book quickly into my bag so I don't lose it.
Absolutely. As you put away the book, the title of which reads Humanoid Deceptive Monsters and Their Traits.
Like cryptids.
So you wish to put the book in your backpack?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Did it say like they're in this area, or was it just descriptions of them?
These are only descriptions, a particular book involving just a catalog of these various monsters in the recording.
Okay,
Nothing of which that you skimmed through was deliberately of this area.
then I would like to look at the stories of hunting in the hunting logs and see if any of them match up from what I just saw.
Okay. Roll a quick investigation for me, please.
Please roll well. 18. Whew.
From what you're able to
Nice.
skim over in some of the records, there is a record of at least 30 years past, of which there was a recording of, or rather a record of allegedly someone was accused of being a witch. They were hunted down in the woods, ran away, hunted down in the woods, and then put on trial. A quick, and it labels in quotations, fair trial after hearty evidence was found against this person. They were then burned at a pyre. And it then begins to record that it was of a local lord's wife that was the alleged witch.
Okay. Hey, I'm gonna call out, hey guys. One of the
Mhm.
books I found entitled basically had monsters in their deceptive human forms.
Okay, I can only assume you mean like humanoid-like monsters.
Vampires and mermaids were a couple.
Okay. The second you say vampires, Deadeye kind of stiffens up a little.
Okay.
Alright.
From what I'm able
Well,
tell there weren't any in this area from these logs, but considering the further up we go, the pictures get more and more monster-like. I'm willing to bet logs contained in the higher levels probably have more information on these things.
Perhaps this was a monster hunter's lodge, and they killed all the monsters, and so they abandoned it because they were done?
They
Let's
were
hope
given
so.
orders to leave. So whether they finished what they were doing or not, it remains to be seen. I believe the previous note we found that I have somewhere said something along the lines of, we were given orders to leave everything as is.
Take what you can, whatever you can't, just leave.
Yeah.
Absolutely. With that, is there any more that you would like to look upon these bookshelves?
I'm looking more in depth specifically for monster stuff because I want to find out what the flip they were doing to have these here.
Absolutely. As you continue your search, you are able to see that there are some vials on a shelf above. In some of these vials, you are able to see various extremities, claws of a certain type of beast, teeth of another, and then in one particular bottle, you are able to see 2 floating black eyes with yellow pits in their center.
Can I investigate that?
Absolutely, if you so wish.
Okay, it's a 13.
With that, roll perception real quick for me.
Sure thing. God, I'm rolling low.
You almost could have sworn the eyes moved and looked at you for a second.
These are some interesting eyes. Kind of cool looking.
Aside from that, you are able to see various other encyclopedias, books on local flora, some of their usages, and other forms of fauna. Largely, most of which are local to the region, as well as those in adjacent regions, and then a few others that largely depict some of the different varieties of creature that lay and basically are in the local regions. Some of which are to be avoided, some of which are not to be trifled with, and others that are best found dead if ever found.
I'm gonna grab that, the one that basically lists off animals and basically everything you just said.
Add into your inventory 1 local bestiary.
Okay.
Be good.
Local bestiary.
Are we at the top of these stairs, by the way, at this point?
At this point, yes, the party has now reached the top of the stairs, and at the top of these stairs is a kind of like a small wooden foyer that is about 8 feet wide and 8 feet 8 feet long and 4 feet wide. Enough of a little bit of a wooden hallway up top that serves somewhat as a balcony overlooking the hall, and also serves as the front door area to an old oaken door. So what does the party wish to do?
I'd like to, again, see if I can find the person in charge's office and see if I can find anything specifically on these monsters.
Absolutely.
From what we recall, does
Would
it
you
seem
like
like a door
to-
we've been through before?
This is the office in which Tifasis was found, and the notes describing the orders of them leaving were found in. This is the main office. And inside, you are able to see a large wooden desk, littered of which are covered in notes, books, scrolls, and an inkwell. There is also a stack of 3 old melted wax candles that lie on 2 front ends of the table to provide light onto the table itself. On the right side of the room, you are able to see a wooden, kind of a standing desk. One of those ones where it has a compartment that you can kind of like open, like a main compartment. Think like an old bread box of sorts, where it would open up from the side and go upwards into the desk, if that makes sense.
Sort of.
It's a curved section. Basically, it's a flap that lifts up and into the top section of the desk. Okay. Aside from that, there is a small fireplace that lies adjacent to the wall where the fireplace was connecting to the exterior of the room. So basically, there's a fireplace along the wall to your immediate left from where you came into. Aside from that, on the left side of the room, there is a wall of books in various bookcases of varying sizes.
Okay. Deadeye, being the skeptic that he is going to pull on every book to see if there's a hidden door.
Absolutely. With that 21, you are actually very thorough on tilting every book about at least 4 inches, because everyone knows if you're going to make a lever, it has to be a minimum 4 inches tilt. You tilt most every book, and after going through half of the bookcases, nothing so far. But that's not going to stop you. You go on to the next set of bookcases, again, nothing. You go starting on 5 inches this time. Going with 5 inches, tilting and curving. None of the books on these bookshelves, on this set of books, do anything.
Okay. And it just seemed like a likely thing.
I'm gonna go look at all the books and the notes and see if anything lists monsters.
Roll investigation for me, please.
Oh dear. 18.
One thing in particular catches your eye fairly quickly. With this, you are able to see a large, old, leather-bound book with little bits of tears in both the pages and its exterior. The corners of the book are held together in iron, little clamps. With this, the corner or the column of the book labels the bestiary. Or rather, the Diergheim bestiary.
Diergheim?
Diergheim bestiary.
Is that a name we're familiar with that we've seen before?
Absolutely not currently.
It might be the name of this place.
I start looking through it.
Inside this, you are able to see various sections and pages of various monsters, of which two of which you've already seen, being the mermaid and vampire. However, there are other monsters. With this, you're able to see various pages of various forms of troll, other forms of giants. Some of these, one particular one sticks out, of a monster that has long tree limb or tree stalk like branches of limbs, which are able to, they seem to, by the depictions and such, have long arms that have the kind of physiology of trees in their limbs, and they put their arms down in the ground and lie in wait well above, and none are the wiser as they walk beneath these trees. And the name for these is the fake tree troll. And with this, super long arms and legs that look like trees and trunks in their limbs, and they lie in wait inside the canopy, waiting for something to walk in under them for them to pounce.
Okay. I'm not.
Other such monsters lie in, such as a succubus, others such as some old wives' tales as the Headless Horseman. In this, there are detailed records of various encounters with Headless Horsemen, of which some were pumpkins, others were various forms of gourds, but all the same, many of which wielded axes, scythes, and rode atop a shadowy, skeletonish horse. And a multitude of other monsters are found in this as well. The pages go on and on into the hundreds of pages long.
Is there anything in this, like, stating that they're in this area?
With this book, it is once again only a record of their existence and their weaknesses.
This might
Their
just be a
weaknesses.
place of, like, you know, foundings of certain types of creatures. You don't always need to. There's not always going to be like a creature that lives in an area. Like a headless horseman is a very rare creature to find.
Well,
especially
Basically,
in
this is
part of
just
the
an
world.
encyclopedia book, just stating their existence, what they are, what they do, and
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to
and that
say.
sort of thing.
either way, I'm putting it in my bag because if there's a book here about their existence, we're probably gonna run into them at some point. And having records of their weaknesses could help us.
Absolutely. Okay.
So I'm putting that in my
Aside
bag.
from absolutely. You may add one 15-pound book to your backpack.
15 pounds?
Wow.
This is a big sucker with iron latches to close it.
Good lord.
Ooh.
Not even most weapons weigh 15 pounds.
Okay. Aside from that, if you want to look for any more books, I will need only one more investigation check, please.
Okay, sure. That's a 10.
With this investigation of 10, there is a one particular section that is labeled in a brass tag alongside the shelf of records. And what would you like to see?
I'd like to read the hunting records.
Absolutely. There are a multitude of records stating no more the the most recent record inside of this compartment is labeled to be upwards of 1 year ago. The most recent being a hunting of various mutated creatures, such as ghouls and others such as rabid wolves that were terrorizing some of the farms. Excuse me. The range of which the monsters and or the beasts killed vary from various forms of regular wildlife to other mutated creatures that were found in the area.
I'm gonna ask Sam if she sees anything in the bestiary about slimes or anything similar to what we have, which is that creature that you guys found in here, which I can't remember the name of. Tifuses, or something similar to Tifuses.
If you want to try and find that in the bestiary, and you don't know its name, you're going to have to go by descriptions. May I get, if you want to search the bestiary, one more investigation, and we'll see if you can find it from there by the description.
21.
21. After searching through a little bit of various descriptions through the index, you are able to find a small description of this creature that seems to match up with the general shape and, with this one, not at all a similar size. With this particular beast looks quite comparable to a gibbering mouther. A gibbering mouther, as labeled in the section, is a mass of flesh, teeth, and mouths with various amounts of eyes. It is similar in accord to a mimic, in the form of it basically just lives to consume. With this, however, one of the most stark comparisons or differences to a mimic is that it doesn't take a subtle approach and try to disguise itself. It, however, just consumes anything and everything it can that its teeth can gnaw through in any way, shape, or form. It preferably, however, likes to eat creatures such as humanoids and other flesh creatures.
You have a living garbage can in that jar.
It then describes various methods of how gibbering mouthers move. They seem to excrete a excess of saliva from the various mouths that are littered throughout its body, and the excess saliva seems to melt its physical surroundings, so it kind of slides around like a slug that crawls on some of its teeth and claws.
I figured it was some kind of ooze.
Here's the question: if that thing is a gibbering mouther, is it? Does it? Are they? Will it live forever? Like how has it been surviving for so long? Will it grow without being
Actually,
fed? Like how does all that work?
I was gonna
Inside-
ask, how is it created? Is it like, can it be created by prior people? Because that means somebody died and was created into a gibbering mouther.
Can I roll?
Further
an
reading.
Sorry,
Go ahead.
I was gonna ask if I could roll an Arcana check.
To see about.
See if I have any previous knowledge on gibbering mouthers and abominations like that.
With that will be actually just a history check.
History? Okay.
The one previous was an optional one because of the range of which, depending on what you knew and what you didn't.
11?
With the 11, a gibbering mouther of what you can collect from both the open source textbook next to you and from your own knowledge, these are exceptionally rare beasts. And what is it you're trying to remember exactly?
Basically, where they come from.
With this, you don't yourself know where they come from, but after skimming through the book, you are able to read that allegedly gibbering mouthers were abominations made by mad mages or people that were experimenting with various forms of alchemy that ended up creating a gibbering mouther from an unsuspecting test subject.
Can they reproduce or spread?
They can.
Like by dividing themselves? How does that
They
work?
do, actually. They get to a critical mass, and then when they can no longer sustain a certain amount of food for that mass, they divide and split up into various smaller forms. This one looks to be a split version of a much larger beast, as it is only about basically a cubic foot in general size, barring all of its twisted limbs and teeth. Basically, it's a foot by a foot wide, foot tall, but because it's so jagged and misshapen that you can't say it's a square foot purely. But yeah,
I don't.
it's a small split of one. Yeah.
You could say it's a football.
Oh dear.
Good lord.
I don't like this place. This place is giving me the creeps the more we learn about it.
Kind of reminded me of home.
What type of home did you grow up in?
Not a good one.
This is anything to go by, I bet. Heesh.
Would you like to continue looking through records?
I'd like to still try to look for like a hidden passageway or something, because this just steeps with like secret passage or something.
Okay. From the bookcases you've currently cleared, nothing seems to be there. There is, however, a fireplace with a mantle on it, with 2 candelabras attached to it, that is over by one wall. There is a desk in the center back of the room, with a large cushioned chair that is sitting behind the desk. And then there is the standing desk that's standing by its lonesome against a mostly blank wall on to the right side of the room.
Can I see if there's any scratches on the floor as if something has been moved?
You mean like someone moved furniture and it kind of scraped up the floor a little bit?
Yeah, and it's like a regular looking scrape, as if it's been moved a lot.
Okay. With that, you were able to see that the desk in the back of the room has similar marks, but they look to be just small amounts. Nothing rapid or not a whole multitude of scratches. A small amount of scratches around the general area of where the desk is.
There are windows in this room, right?
There is 2 windows along the back side of the wall behind the desk.
When I look up into the roof, do I see rafters? Is it a flat ceiling?
With this, you are able to see that it is a flat ceiling.
Does it feel like we're on the second floor, or we're on the second floor, right?
You are on a second floor. Or rather, no, it's a third floor. Apologies. As the set of stairs was a 3-story set.
Yes. I was about to say it was like 3 stories. Okay. I'm going to like feel the wall after moving like the desk away. Be like knocking on wood.
Absolutely. As you try to move the desk, roll strength at disadvantage.
What the hell? Okay. Okay, the first one was a 13. Oh,
Second
and it's the
one,
nat 1.
with the natural one, you quickly realize this desk is solid oak wood. This sucker is heavy.
How is there minor scratches if this is a heavy ass fucking oak thing? This thing is heavy.
Person moving it was strong.
Could be right. Can I get some help with this?
I'd like to.
In the
Go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead real quick.
I was gonna say I'd like to try moving the candelabras that are above the fireplace.
You absolutely may. With that, you see that there are 2 wrought iron candelabras that sit upon the mantle. As you grab each, they are both easily detachable from where they are sitting on the mantle.
I want to look at the mantle and see if there's like any areas of where it looks like something else was there previously. Like,
As in, like, a old spot of, like, dust is missing or something?
or maybe less dust there than the other spots.
Okay, roll perception for me then.
Okay. Please do well. A 10.
You can see that the candelabras are the current and only decoration atop the mantle of the fireplace. With that, you are able to get a closer look at some of the other spots on the mantle, and it looks like there used to be something there, as there's significantly less dust in comparison to the surrounding spots. Various sizes, mostly rectangular, one of which is round.
Probably books and such. Okay. Tell the others, but yeah.
All right. And with all of this going on, Vardak and Zargish, what are you two currently up to?
I'm just watching people pulling on things and thinking they're crazy.
There's got to be a hidden passage. I mean, come on. Look at it. It's a freaking library.
I'm just looking around.
Absolutely. What would you like to be looking at then?
Are there any more paintings of animals or monsters on the walls?
You are able to see along the wall with some of the bookcases, there are papers that are sticking out of some of the books that were pulled 4 inches ago, or 4 inches a minute ago, being pulled out and such. You can see that there are small amounts of kind of pencil scrapings and scratches along some of these exterior edges of these papers.
I'll grab that book.
Absolutely. You are able to see a picture of one of which is another entry into a various monster book. This one looks to be of tall tales turned real. This one in particular that you grab is the Boogeyman.
Oh no, it's the Booger Man.
Come on.
With this as a base description, it is a person or creature that was molded, mutated, or otherwise cursed into being a alleged boogeyman. They often only arrive at night. Their bodies are no more than twisted amalgamations of limb and bone, and they drip with a seeping ooze. With this, they often wear the former clothing of what they did wear in life, some of which looks to haunt some of their local family members by seeing twisted abominations. hovering over windows, looking inside, and or hiding under beds in various isolated cases.
Fun.
This is creepy.
Wait, how did they become boogeymen?
Either cursed or otherwise mutated.
I can walk in the woods and all of a sudden just like mutate.
You know, there's one thing about digital D&D. You can't see my facial features.
All right.
Upon you saying that.
All right. Well.
But anywho, um, Zargis, you just want to kind of like stand around and look at all the others then?
Yep.
Absolutely. Going back to Sam, you are able to look through more and more records. Is there anything else you wish to find?
Maybe something detailing what this lodge was used for.
Absolutely.
Hunting lodge, but
You are able to see that the records are labeled mostly by date, and you can see that on the left side is the most recent, and then the dates seem to go further and further back, upwards of roughly 60 to 80 years in the past. At the latest section, you are able to read a passage that has a letter inside, flat inside of a book. As you open the book, you're able to see the letter detailing the beginning or latest date in regards to the latest date that you can find. With this date and its section, you are able to find a letter. In this letter, it details that it is a personal letter from a, excuse me, from a, one second, I'm having a cough fit that's coming up and I feel it. Humble apologies. You are able to find a letter detailed from a personal point of view from a person that is labeled only as Huntmaster, and then the captain of the founding of this lodge being a Mershal, or Mershal, Mershal, Mershal,
Not a
uh,
marshal.
Mershal, Mer, of a Mershal Cartwright. This, from the Huntmaster to Mershal, is a personal letter of apology. This apology letter says, based upon the rumors and recent foundings that we've heard in that local region, we simply can no longer ignore the pleas of the people. Although they are scattered and infrequent, we need to turn our attentions to this area. The reason being, there has been one creature in particular that rose up in rumor. And this one rumor is the reason why we are establishing a chapter out in that section of the woods. On this rumor alone, we are sending you. If it turns out to be no more than tall tale, I apologize. If it is not, and even if you believe it is, treat it with all the seriousness you can muster. Affirm that there is this creature not here. And every time it labels this creature, there is a black stroke of ink across what the name would be.
By black stroke of ink, you mean it's redacted?
Basically.
I don't like this.
you don't like a lot of things.
Well, when things are creepy,
Things not like.
Hmm?
No, like you're saying, if there's anything to be put you out of, if there's anything that should put you, what's the saying? If there's anything that should make you uncomfortable, having the name of this thing that's so important that a whole group of people who specialize in hunting them to move on the mere rumor of it, and to have the very name of the thing be blackened out in documents. That's pretty sketchy.
and we don't know. And the fact that they were ordered to leave and evacuate, essentially.
Well, I mean, that could just be showing that it was false.
Well, they were told basically, get out of there, evacuate, take everything you can.
Yeah.
No, it seemed like it was that they were being sent on a mission. It was that there was a more important job for them elsewhere.
Mm,
And
I guess it
I'll
could be
they're not
funny.
back yet, right? What was the date? It was like, what, 6 months
A year
ago?
ago.
at
They're not
least,
back.
At least 6 months. It could be years.
Mm-hmm.
But it could be that they were told to evacuate because they found what they were looking for, and
They didn't need to come back.
they found what they were looking for but weren't able to take care of it. I mean,
It's also that.
music changed.
Is there any details? Like, is there any maps or any documentation showing where they were heading to?
Should be something in the main desk, wouldn't there?
It is yet to be checked.
I will check the main desk to see if there is something of this nature.
I'm
Considering the
keeping this
importance of
letter.
it.
Absolutely. It is dated all the way back to 80 years in the past, from the recent past, actually. Like a month ago, 80 years is when this date was labeled.
Jesus Christ. I'll be investigating the desk. Fuck me, God, I am having garbage rolls today.
With the 7, you are able to pull out various drawers, and most of these drawers look to be empty. Many of which you are able to find small scraps of torn bits of paper, of which are only like the very edges and are incomprehensible and without context, without the rest of the pages. But you are also able to find one graphite stick that rolled to the front of the drawer when you pulled it out. The desk looks to be mostly cleared out.
Take a look at the graphite stick.
Absolutely.
Oh wait, hold on. You said there were some blank papers?
Some blank papers as well as various small, like torn edges of some papers.
I'm going to take all the papers and I'm gonna just empty the whole front of this desk. So that way there's a clear space. I'm gonna place down some of the papers, and match up any torn pieces together with any of the other papers, and then I'm gonna rub all of the graphite onto the paper to see what it shows.
Absolutely. Upon doing that, as much as I enjoyed that idea and thought, take inspiration for that. I like that idea. However, there is nothing to be found. Some of the blank papers are simply just that, and the other torn small sections of paper are literally just like some of the ends and tears and pieces that ended up coming off of a piece of paper. But I do appreciate that line of thought. It was very smart.
I really thought I was onto something.
Probably a better idea to do that on the desk where they actually wrote stuff than in the drawer where they stored stuff.
Well, I figured that maybe it was, written down on top of the piece of paper. I don't know. I was taking a chance.
Well, good chance.
But we have a graphite stick just in case.
All right. So back to Sam real quick.
Mm-hmm.
You are able to find various other records, some of which are various monsters that have been found and killed, and you are also able to see some of the previous design schematics of this building. You are able to see that there is a barracks area that is labeled to be directly adjacent to the main hall. You can see that there is an armory, as well as you are able to find inside the schematic one particular blueprint for a particular desk. Upon viewing of this desk, you are able to realize that there is a contraption that is meant to be inside the backing of this desk. You're able to recognize this one. It looks a lot like the little flimsy desk over to the right side of the room.
I'm gonna go try that contraption.
Absolutely. After cross-referencing the paper, it looks like it's underneath and or behind the desk in question. But with this, roll investigation, please. At advantage now. Anything was better than that one.
Mm-hmm.
As you open the drawer, you are able to see that there is a little bit of clicking of gears. As you are able to look inside, you can see that there looks to be a kind of metal contraption inside, of which you are able to see what looks like a turn key of sorts.
I'll turn it.
Absolutely. As you reach inside and turn the key, you turn it 1 inch, 2 inch, and then 3. You hear a click and a small clatter of wood and small bits of metal behind the wall. You hear a clunk, and then the wall kind of falls in on itself and falls forward. With
See, I
this,
told y'all there was a freaking hidden room.
and with this, the wall kind of falls forward from about 3 feet up, and from between 3 foot up and then to the ceiling, the wall in various sections turns, and you can see that it reveals various cupboards. And with this, reveal area. Y'all able to see that?
I see
The white
something
grid?
white.
Ow. Okay, never mind. 1 second. Wrong layer. Token layer. Here we go. Apologies.
Y'all ever had a problem with Roll20 where it just always loads? It never like actually loads anything?
No.
No.
Cool.
So basically, a panel fell down towards you and then retracted into the wall, and various cupboards were exposed.
Oh.
Okay. Along some of these cupboards, you can see that there are various sketches of some of the anatomy and dissection papers of various creatures. You can see the skulls of some, and you can see a multitude of bottles and elixirs scattered amongst many of the cupboards.
Oh dear. Question. Did the thing that said we're making a branch here ever state what the organization was?
There was only the iconography of their sigil that you saw inside the main room, being a deer head surrounded by the thorns and then the wolves seemingly grasping at the creature's throat, at the deer's throat.
Okay. This is... So essentially they were killing the monsters, dissecting them. I don't want to know what else they were doing with these things.
Could be turning the creatures into weapons. Could be, maybe figuring out a cure for certain types of diseases. As you know, vampirism, lycanthropy is considered a disease in some parts of the world. And, well, could be a cure. If we're looking positively, of course.
So in these cupboards, there are varieties of multicolored bottles, some old scrolls and notebooks, as well as various other books, pictures of dissection sheets, and various other small little boxes containing small tools, most of which are for dissection and embalming purposes. Is there anything in particular you'd like to look at?
Not really.
Absolutely.
How many different colors of vials are there?
Oh, how many different colors? There are various green ones of green glass, clear ones that contain various colored liquids, some of which are purple, yellow, and a maroon color.
And I would suppose that none of them are labeled.
A few of them are labeled, one of which that is yellow, you can see as a kind of spot treatment is what it's labeled as.
Interesting. Any other labels in the other vials?
Many of which are old and somewhat faded, but upon closer examination, you could potentially try and read what they are.
Heckin' yes. What would that be, an investigation check?
Yes, that would, yes.
Okay, tell me if this pops up in Roll20. I'm not sure it will.
Yes.
It did, 17.
What does this say? I squint. I peer down and try to make out the letters.
With the purple one, you are able to see that it is a sleep medicine. And you can see that some of the various ingredients inside are some bits of monster that you probably wouldn't want to be drinking.
Anything else? You said spot treatment medicine.
Upon reading some of the ingredients, you are able to see that it involves the hair of a werewolf inside some of the ingredients.
I'll pass.
And there is also a vial of green liquid.
Is it labeled?
With that, you are able to read with the investigation. Upon closer examination, the label is faded, but it says the beginning part is kind of faded out. But you then see on the second half of the label, it basically says blank spit.
I'll take that one.
Absolutely.
I'll be sure that the seal is good, whether it's a cork or whatnot. I'll make sure that is. I'll turn it upside down in front of me to make sure that it doesn't just like spill out because it's a poor seal. And if that's good, I'll throw it in my pack.
Absolutely.
I bet it's corrosive or something. Can't hurt, pour it on something nasty.
Right.
One moment. Making sure something lines up correctly. Okay. And there are other various forms of like powders in satchels and various other things, one of which is bone meal, another which is salt. And then there is some of which are crushed up exoskeletons of insects and such, like dried out skins and such as that. Various other forms of ingredients. And what was the last question you said? I was going over my notes.
Who was that to?
I believe someone asked
I think that was
a
What's in there?
question.
What's in there? Yeah. I asked.
What else was there? Sorry. About what else was there. There were the
Okay, so
vials and various other pouches.
How much salt is there?
In the pouch of salt, there is approximately a half pound of salt. By the smell of it, sea salt.
So that's probably some of that, like, some monsters don't like salt.
Possibly.
Salt circle nonsense. That's probably what that's there for, I suppose.
Okay.
Any of this y'all think you want to take with you in case it comes in handy?
I guess I could take it.
I'll take a bit as well.
I think we should burn this place down.
Honestly, that sounds like a good idea.
This place is kind of cool, actually.
Well,
Yeah, I like it.
considering the village says that children will come up here to hang out, or teenagers will come up here to hang out and play, and we found that amalgamation in here. We have flippin' dissection stuff in here. We have all these monster stuff in here. Let's just get rid of it all before
A bunch of emo teens can come up here and start a cult or something, and then for the betterment of society, we should. It probably makes sense to burn.
Okay, so this is going to be a really strange question, but it just popped into my mind. Do any of you have the ability to see invisible stuff?
I don't think so.
No, I cannot.
If I did, how would I know it was invisible?
Because you can cast magic if you could. Artificers have that spell.
Oh, I
You
see.
See invisible. But no, I do not.
Okay.
But I think this place is fucking awesome.
If I may say, completely out of character, Kitten, you know how you had a Monster Hunter character?
Yeah, I know, right?
Yep, this was your place.
This what? Oh my god!
Or rather, it's not your place, but your order and such.
My order was here. Aw, damn, bro! I would have had the time of my life in here.
Yeah, it was just when you guys defeated the owlbear and you decided to you had to go for a while because of work, and then that was just at the point where I was like, oh, you just missed it.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm so upset.
I
Oh,
should have
this place
probably
looks
said that.
sick.
I probably should have said that after we were done with the session, but anywho. But with this, that is largely what is in the cupboards. There was the various vials and other dissection bits and notebooks. Sam, as you continue to investigate various records, you are able to find, upon more of that investigation, you are able to see that there were various other records of, in now cross-comparing those that were in the other cupboards that have now revealed themselves in some of the records here, it makes a little bit more sense. It seems that they did find a small amount of lycanthropes in the region, of which one fateful night they escaped after various forms of what is labeled as testing. One of which was a common werewolf, another of which was a were-rat. Others were were-ravens, but all the bird or aviation were-creatures were killed upon escape. However, the were-rat, werewolf, and were-bear did, however, escape from the logs that are stated here.
How old are these logs?
These logs are upwards of 10 years ago.
So easily could have reproduced.
By this time, yes.
Shiz.
Oh, lycanthropy's bad. I met a few werewolves in my day.
We should go.
What time of day is it?
At the moment, it is sunset, and the sun is rapidly dropping.
We said we wanted to stay here for the night.
Yeah, y'all want a long rest here? It's getting dark.
Sam, I don't know why you feel uncomfortable, but honestly, I feel quite right at home. If you want me to take watch, I can absolutely do so.
Yes, please.
Okay, I'll gladly do so.
Shall we split it up, or you not getting any rest?
I can take a 4-hour rest.
I'll take that watch.
Okay.
I'll split it up into 3 sections, and we can stay here for 12 hours. How about that?
Sounds about right.
I'll take the last watch then, I suppose.
Okay, so y'all want to try and take a long rest then?
Yeah.
All right. So with that, for each person that is taking their watch, can I have each of you roll in your chronological order of a perception check for me?
I guess I'm first, so you get the first
Absolutely.
4 hours.
Yeah, I'll take the first 4 hours, and then I can just stay up the rest of the time.
Oh. Yeah, that's nothing.
Absolutely. As you do your first portion of the night, Sam, you see that there's just really nothing going on. All is quiet. The building creaks a little bit in the wind, but aside from that, nothing seems eventful to happen.
She is super jittery. Like,
You need to chill out.
not until we're out of this place.
I love this place. And not for any prior motivations of a previous character, but because of how cool Kaz made it sound.
And you roll
Okay,
next?
Who is the second person that goes on their shift?
I will be going up next on my shift. So you want me to do a perception?
Perception.
Yes, please.
I have good perception. It's a 15. All right, that's not terrible.
Things look mostly to be uneventful, but you do notice, out of the corner of your eye, underneath the record section, along the ground, just underneath the cupboard, as you kind of peruse around the place, you're not just sitting in one spot. As you are just kind of looking around in various places, you see that under one of the bookcases in the office, Before, you didn't quite see it, but this time around you do. At a certain angle, you look and you see a piece of paper that was underneath the bookcase. With
I'm
that,
gonna
would
look
you
at
like to look at that paper?
Absolutely.
As you bend over and pick up the paper, you're able to see that half of the page, or at least one side of the page, looks a little torn. The rest of it looks to be like the page looks like it was torn out of a book, essentially. And you are
Okay.
able to see the visage of a tree. With this tree, you are able to see that there is twisting kind of rootstocks that go up and twirl around and go up and spread into various branches. You are able to see the illustration of the leaves as small petals that seem to glitter and float in the illustrated wind. With this,
Does this illustration look like it's part of the bestiary book?
um, with that, do a quick insight check on that, and then go from there.
It would be obvious because of how large the page is.
Oh, I never said anything about it being like a 3-foot size page. It's just like a regular sheet of paper.
You said it's a 15-pound book, brother. It has to be.
It's a 15-pound book with very large pages. I'm saying the page that was found is a regular sized page, not one of the extra big size pages that were in that book.
You can glue smaller pages into a big page,
You could.
If you're dumb, yeah.
or it's a big enough page that it needs multiple papers.
But anywho, you are able to find this paper that looks torn out of a certain page, and it looks like it kind of glittered and flew underneath the bookcase. And you are able to see the visage of a tree with twisting root-like stalk that curls up in a kind of corkscrew fashion up into various branches and flower petals. This particular book or side of the page says Life Anchor. With this, roll a quick history check. With that
Wait, a good roll.
15, you are able to recognize that you saw a similar tree not too long ago. This looks like the tree that's out in that little island outside of the lodge.
Wait, this is the golden petal, or not golden petal, but like the flower petals tree that's like all by itself, and it's kind of like
Yes.
okay.
Respawn
Alright.
point. Respawn point.
With this, you are able to see that it is labeled as a life anchor. What the hell was that?
Sorry, that's my air conditioning. It's getting hot over here in Alabama now that the winter has ended, and it's dead. It's awful, and I
Okay.
apologize for turning it on.
Oh, that's fine. But with that, you are able to see that this tree is labeled as a life anchor. Would you like to read further?
Sure.
With this, it is largely of tale and prophecy that you are able to see within the first section, detailing that these trees are typically it briefly mentions another type of tree of a vile anchor. And with this, you're able to see that this life anchor versus a vile anchor, this is a page detailing the life anchor. With the life anchor page, you're able to see that these trees typically sprout from the choice selection of gods that have planted a air quote seed in an area where a good deed has been done. Some of these good deeds involve sacrifices, great achievements of good overall, or simply the arrival place of where gods have been entering onto the mortal plane. There are various locations, but one of which is labeled as Kukelu, and another labeled as Torle, as notable or known locations of life anchors. Torle you are able to recognize as the capital, but Kukelu, without a history check, the name, or at least its significance, eludes you.
Can I ask you how to spell Korkelu?
Kukelu is Kukea. One second, let me look at my notes. Kukealu. Kukelu.
Kelu, and then you said
Torleh. Torleh.
Page of life anchor and you said a page of a tree life anchor and the life what?
Life anchor, and then there was a small mention of a vile, vile anchor,
A vial.
such as like vile fiends, like vile, like that.
Vial anchor and life anchor. Interesting. Okay.
With the life anchor, there lists two locations, one of which you know to be the capital of Torleh, and the other name of which eludes you. So with
Can I try that history check and see if I might know what the hell that is?
you very well may try.
It's 10.
With that 10, the name of Kukelu eludes you.
Okay. I'll ask about it later.
All right. But with that, you're also able to see a passage that says the significance of life anchors being that they are places of where great good has happened, but they also act as it says, an anchor. With this, you are able to see a small sketch of various planes of existence. Basically, the life anchor seems to shoot through all of the air quote good planes of existence, and everything as it begins to detail. Anything from any of those external planes can use a life anchor to descend into different planes and descend finally into the mortal realm.
Which planes can use that anchor?
The celestial, some of the void, as well as the center of the elemental planes.
So creatures from the void can come into this world.
Good.
Potentially.
That's great.
And then, if you turn the page to its backside, it then labels the vile anchor. It labeled the tree itself is this juddering mass of misshapen limbs. Sharp, pointy thorns arc every which way from them, and you can see that long, twisting limbs that almost look like hands reaching out, bony in figure and sharp in stature. With this tree, it labels as a vile anchor. It is essentially the evil counterpart to the life anchor. They are areas where great evil or great atrocities have happened. With this, you're able to see the various locations of. There are none that are currently known. However, they have been known to, such as a life anchor, attach into the infernal and otherwise evil planes of existence, some of which are the Shadowfell, others are Hell, and another section of the Void. Again, it also reaches through the elemental planes. However, once again, it acts as an anchor. Something can go down it, but nothing can ever go up it. So think pillars that act like elevators. To simplify it, think of pillars that act as elevators through the planes into various locations around the world.
So it mainly just talks about the positive plane and the negative planes, and that the trees basically connect to both of those, only to very specific planes of existence.
Not two specific ones, but they label certain ones as like examples as where things can come from, such as the Void, the Shadowfell, Hell, and other external planes of existence. And both of which have two planes of which both are able to meet. The Void and the elemental planes. There is theoretical mention of a third plane that each of the anchors breach into from.
Okay.
Both are mentioned lightly by the name of Nowhere.
Ooh, I'm gonna take note of that. Nowhere. Also, this music makes me feel like I'm like going through a montage of study.
Mason, what do the numbers mean? Yeah.
Okay.
Now this ain't Courage the Cowardly Dog where I'm just gonna get teleported to a desert.
But with that, that is the end of your shift. Zargish, can I have you roll perception?
Eight.
With that perception, the night seems to go by upon your patrols as uneventful. And then finally, Vardak, can I have you roll perception?
17.
With that 17, as you peruse about the place, keeping eye on through some of the windows and over some of the doors, you are able to see in the armory that there is a weapon or two that has been left behind. These are +1 wrought iron weapons. These are simple weapons of your choice. So you can pick a simple weapon of +1 and it'll be yours.
Okay. I don't know what simple weapons, like the list of simple weapons are.
Oh, there are some basic ones. You can easily find a list anywhere and just get to me and tell me which ones you want, and they're yours. You found 2 +1 weapons.
Okay.
They were just kind of laying in like a corner or were inside a drawer. You were able to find them while you were walking about the place. And with that, Zargish, you were able. I'm sorry, Bardak, you were able to see the morning sun coming in through a small cracked section, or rather a parted section of one of the curtains. Light gently fills the rooms, and the party awakes with a long rest.
Long rest time.
Okay. So now that the day has sprung, what does the party wish to do?
Make sure you take a long rest, everybody.
Get out of here
got my
and
long
burn the
rest.
place to the ground.
Hey, we don't gotta burn the place.
It's not like it's gonna stay locked with us having flippin' made a hole in it.
Okay, that's my fault, and I'm sorry. I didn't mean to kick it as hard as I did. Usually I'm not as strong. It must have been all wood.
Okay,
Y'all want to put it to a vote or leave this place for another day?
I want to leave this place with not it being burnt down.
okay, real quick question before we decide whether to burn the place down or not. My vote still burn it down. Did you tell the rest of us when you woke up about the life in Vile Anchor in the nowhere?
Not yet.
Okay.
But hey, I don't think we should burn this down.
We should get rid of it as soon as we can.
If it's a big enough problem, I mean, we could always come back and burn it down.
Yeah.
Or we could pay some guy. We could send a messenger to this little closest town with like 5 gold and be like, "Hey, burn this down. We'll, you get 4 gold commission."
True. You could always just send somebody else to do it.
Y'all would actually trust someone else with
I mean-
5 gold to pay
5 gold is a
someone
lot in
else
this world.
4 gold when they could just
I just had a.
run away.
I'm
and
sorry.
keep it
I
for
just had a
themselves.
thought. Mail order arson.
But
I'm sorry, Sam. Go ahead.
I'm just saying, Sam, that this place is not as bad as I think you're making it out to be. I think you're just kind of creeped out by the beasts that it tells.
It is full of evil things.
I've seen plenty of evil.
Y'all want to put it to a vote?
y'all know my vote.
Y'all, you know mine.
I choose not to. Like, not to burn it.
Okay, so that's 2 to not, 1, 2.
Czar.
Oh, I said, yeah, I guess not.
All right, we're not burning it down.
If something
Okay.
happens and it's on, I'm blaming you 3.
Very
That's
well.
reasonable. That's reasonable.
I am
All right.
blaming you three when something happens, not if, when.
So, how far away is the that petaled tree?
It's right over there on the other side of the clearing.
None too far away. With this, you are
Did you-
able to see from one of the exterior windows that in the distance, no more than a quarter to a half mile away, in the middle of a lake that is the runoff of the mountains above, you are able to see
Uh-oh.
there is a small
You are glitching out, Gaz.
Yeah, you're breaking up.
Un momento. I'm gonna disconnect and reconnect. Do I sound better?
Yes.
Okay, apologies. You are able to see through a window. You can see no more than a quarter to a half mile away in the center of a small island that is made of loose gravel. In the center of this lake, that there is a petaled, twisting trunk tree perched on the small gravel island that matches a description earlier found to be one of the life anchors.
All right. So I'm gonna mention right now that I did find something last night. That there was a specific writings about this tree here called a life anchor, and apparently it's parallel to some planes of existence that can be teleported to or from. There's also an opposite version of that called a vile anchor, and was it also another kind of like tree, but more evil? I guess.
Yeah.
Vile anchor.
Yeah. And I'm gonna mention all of the things and my findings, and then tell them have y'all explored this life anchor before?
No, but that's where we met Czar.
Yeah.
You met Zarg?
Yep. I was just chilling underneath the tree. I thought it was real pretty. I saw it while I was wandering. I decided to take a rest underneath. It's in the middle of the lake. You'll have to either swim or hop on a little John boat to get over to it if you want to check it out closer.
I don't even know
Question.
if that'd be worth my time.
Do you show us the page you found?
No, I just tell you that I found a page of writing about it.
Okay. And what's this vile anchor look like?
You said it was like a mass of limbs that kind of form a tree, correct?
A mass of jagged, jutting limbs that are sharp, angular, some of which are covered in thorns and other sharp bits, but a very sharp, angular tree that didn't have any leaves.
Didn't we see something like that on the way to the owlbear? We avoided it, but I thought we
Is
saw.
that a question to me?
Well, it's to everyone. I thought we
I have no
saw
idea.
one.
I mean, I teleported in the cave, so I have no idea if y'all passed by one.
I thought we saw something that fits that description, but we avoided it. Because it was weird.
That was before I met up with y'all. I have no clue.
Well, if there is one of those, I would like to go to it.
Say it's evil, and yet you want to go to it. You don't make sense. You typically avoid the evil stuff. How you stay alive.
I'm typically surrounded by evil shit, and I kill it for a living.
Oh. Fine, whatever.
Wait, so we're going. I thought the plan was to head towards that town where the.
No, we're gonna head towards town, but did y'all see an evil tree? Because I would like to go to it at some point if I could. If it's on the way.
I mean, if it's on the way, we'll see it, so.
Yeah, if it's on the way, we'll see it. If it's not on the way... Oh, wow.
Did you say you wanted to check out this you life anchor you called it, or did you want to?
No, I just lightly mentioned if y'all had been to it, and y'all said that you found Zorgish there, which I thought was interesting. But the one I want to visit is the Vile Anchor.
Y'all ready to head out for town, or is there some unfinished business we have to do here?
I think we're good.
Let's go. I want to get away from this thing.
Sam is so uncomfortable.
Let's head out.
Yes. Very.
Well, all right then. So with that, it looks like everyone wants to leave the hunting lodge unburned. All right. So after that, what is it the party wishes to do?
Head out on foot down the path.
Yeah.
Absolutely. With that, you are able to find a path that winds down around the side of the mountain. With this, you are able to find that you are on the same path that you took going down the mountain in the first place, chasing after goblins the first time around. With this, eventually it winds and curves its way to back in front of the Owlbear Cave. From there, you are able to retrace your steps, and you are able to see through the woods that many trees, many fauna, or rather many flora, it looks like early spring. After about 2 to 3 hours of walking, you are able to finally come across the village of Karn Village. With this, what does the party wish to do as I change the music?
I'm gonna, I don't know, I'll do a, what would I even do? Religion check. See if I can, like, get a sense of if she's listening at all. As I, like, kind of, like, occasionally ask, is like, do I still need to be around these guys, or am I good?
And that is?
It's a nat 20! Holy shit!
With this, you reach into your inner being, your soul, and what you believe your connection to your own, basically deity and or patron. As you reach deep and down into yourself, there is no answer.
Highly upsetting. Okay. Deadeye doesn't know what to do with this information and is just kind of like sulk to himself.
Bruh moment, if you will.
Okay.
Damn.
So we're still walking along the way?
So with this, you have now reached the edge of Karn Village. And this will take us back a page or two to this page. Over into Karn Village. All right. So with that, you folks are right around here. There is a stream before you that reaches across the way, and you are able to see that there is a small wood plank rickety bridge that breaches the gap between. Excuse me. And with this, you are now passing a hut that is on the right side as you are going into town, that is surrounded by trees, and on those trees, on the various limbs, you are able to see that there is a variety of gourds that are hanging on strings and ropes from some of these limbs, of which in the air you can smell a faint smell of old alcohol. You're just able to smell the alcohol in the wind.
Oh.
Looks like they may have had a party.
Okay. So would you like to go into town?
Let's head straight to the chief's home.
Okay. At this time of day, it is now about 11 a.m. in the morning. So with this, you wish to go into the center of town and meet the village chief. Absolutely. So with this, you are able to mosey your way down on over through town as the beginning morning crowd is now finishing up their breakfast and is going to work for the day, either going to their fields, going back to their homes, or going about their tasks. And with this, you can see that there's the basic crowd of people, and then you can see that some of the crowd looks to be whispering, and a few of them are pointing at some of the party. And with this, you're able to hear a bunch of hushed tones.
Hmm. Can I do a perception check to see if I can hear what they're saying?
You certainly may.
13?
With this and what you're able to hear, you are able to hear of, is that a prosthetic arm? Is that, he looks burned. Is he okay? Does anyone know him? And people seem to be jutting and asking about, and from that description, Deadeye, looks like they might be talking about you.
Oh, here, hold on. Let me freak him out. I pop off my entire arm. Hi, and I wave my arm as like a hello, and I pop it back on.
With this, some of the women that were looking over begin to scream and then kind of run away as recently they have seen a thing or two now. But now they've seen a third thing.
Deadeye literally laughs.
I'm glad we weren't trying to keep under the radar.
Why would you be trying to keep under the radar?
I don't know. We end up getting sent to a flippin' after an owl bear. We then end up stuck in a mine, and we then find a flippin' hunter's lodge for monsters. I don't know. Maybe there's something weird going on here.
Oh, if there's something weird going on, I'm definitely weirder than that.
Oh.
After this light exchange going on and walking to the village chief's house, you are able to see you finally find yourselves in the town square. Some of the street has some loose cobblestones in the ground, and you can see that in the center of the kind of plaza, as it were, there is the Karn Village well. And across the way, you're able to see the stone building of the village chief's house. What would the party like to do?
Go report to the
We'll knock
village.
on the door.
Huh?
We'll knock on the door.
Yeah, knock on the door, report
Let's
to
get
the
it
chief.
done.
Absolutely. Roll a strength check for me, please. I just want to see how loud you guys can knock.
Okay.
Nat 20 again.
FBI, open up.
It's a dirty 20.
All right, with your prosthetic arm, you are able to rat and tat pretty loudly on the door. And after that loud banging, almost like someone thundering at the door, you hear snoring, and then you hear a kind of, what?
I hear
Oh,
the
coming!
Skeleton's theme.
And then you hear large, thumping footsteps coming over to you. 1 second, I'm coming to the door. It's still too early for this. And then you see, as he opens the door, you see Chief Widlam, a tall, red-haired man with red hair, red beard, and he is a large guy of about 6'5". He's still wearing his typical green vest, simple shirt, and long brown trousers. With this, he kind of rubs his eyes a little bit and goes, "Well, nice to see you guys are back. What has it been, like 2 days now? I thought you guys were goners. Nice to see you're alive. Did you deal with that problem we had?"
Yep.
"Wow, good. You wouldn't happen to have proof of that, would you?"
Pull out the feather.
"Oh, well, okay. And here is a picture of Mr. Widlam. Here we go.
A very normal looking ginger man.
Okay. Well, then, I'd say that looks like proof enough for me. Tell me, it's been a day or two. Oh, yeah, please, come inside, come inside. He then beckons you in, and inside the living room area, you are able to see that there are two kind of cushioned seats that are mostly like couches that sit across each other from a coffee table. And aside from the coffee table, there is a small fireplace. Inside the fireplace, it's currently unlit, but there looks to be embers that are still aglow. And inside, you're able to see that there are in the room one bookshelf, a room that is adjacent to this living room area, and then two other doors that lead into other sections of the house. One of those doors is down a small hallway that leads to the right. And with this, he brings you all in and says, "Please make yourselves comfortable." Excuse me, I just woke up. At being like 11 a.m. in the morning. And with this, he kind of stretches a little bit more. You hear a crick, crick, and then he pulls back a little more and a crack, and he then lurches forward like, "Oh, that was good."
Sound good.
Well,
Actually, I want to pop my bones as well, and I like entirely pop my left arm.
is that prosthetic?
No.
It. He then gives a very kind of like surprised look, like he closes his mouth, but his kind of lips drop a little bit, almost like a frown, but kind of like surprised, like, "Wait a second, that's not a fake limb?"
I give him my hand, quite literally.
And with that, you're kind of like doing like a shaking hand motion, or you just kind of hand the arm over to him.
Oh no, I'm shaking his hand, and as he shakes my hand, the arm pops off.
Oh! And then he drops the hand to the floor in a very shocked manner. He then is wiping his hand on his vest and pants, and then kind of backs up a few steps, like, "Oh, what the hell?"
And then it like skitters back up my body, and then back as a hand.
He then juts back even further, hits a bookcase. Some of the books fall, and then he goes around the corner and kind of peers around the edge and goes like, "What the fuck is that?"
Sam
howdy,
face
man.
palms and shakes her head.
Howdy, my name is Deadeye. Nice to meet you.
I would say it's nice to meet you too, but I'm not so sure no more.
I don't mean any harm. I'm always here to help folks. Especially these guys that needed help out of the mines after dealing with the owlbear.
Mines?
So there was a bit. We found out you had a bit of a goblin infestation a little ways down the mountain range.
Okay, that explains why you were gone for about 2-3 days.
Yeah, took care of majority of that. Not all, but majority. They should be more hesitant to interact with humans right now. On top of which, we ended up at that little hunting lodge up in the north.
Oh yeah, the hunting lodge. That's been there for a while now. They haven't been up there for a bit,
Pretty cool place. Pretty empty though.
I imagine.
When did...
Yeah, we used to do business, and they would sell some animal hides and some meat to us every so often.
How long have they been gone?
Last they were here was upwards of about 7 months ago. As he kind of like shakes his head, he then comes out from behind the corner of the room a little bit, and he then kind of like puts his hands on his side and kind of scratches his chin. 7 seems about right. They occasionally came into town for some supplies, some drinks every so often at the inn. They were good business for a while, but they just kind of up and moved one day. They said goodbye, but that was about it.
So you wouldn't say that they're evil in any way or shape or form?
Evil? What makes you say that?
I don't know. One of our people seems to be a little upset with the fact of some of the findings.
They were hunting deer up there. What are you talking about? What are you, vegan?
The claws and heads on the walls were weird.
Oh, you mean like hunting trophies? Yeah, that's kind of normal. Sure, it's weird, like mounting the head of an animal is a little weird. I can admit. I can see the error there, or the kind of he then kind of like moves his hands around each other. Like, I can't remember the word, but I can see
Aversion.
where yes, yes. Have I met you before? There's two of you, two more of you now.
Nope. We
They joined
We
our
never
group.
met.
yeah.
Oh, well, okay. My name's Chief Woodlam. What's yours, Turtle Man?
Zargish. Pleasure.
Nice to meet you, Mr. Zargish. And he kind of cautiously now extends this hand. And he has it as like he has it curved as like for a quick escape. He can jut it back real quick.
I'll slowly and gently reach out and grasp with my knot claws and shake.
Like a stub.
Okay. Nice to meet you, Mr. Zargish. Okay. But thank you. I forgot the word. The aversion to mounting heads. Like, sure, it's odd, but it's common enough. I can. Are you druidic, or do you like prefer nature or mind over matter, or what?
Let's just say I
I'm a-
prefer. Let's just say I prefer nature. In several
Okay, then.
things.
To be fair, it wasn't any normal beasts that we were seeing up there. We saw some pretty interesting.
Like the owlbear?
Yes, like
I'll
the
tell you-
owl bear. And
Yes, like the
she-
owl
Roll
bear.
deception for me, please.
I get onto
Deception,
the. I
me?
get.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
There's no deception.
Congratulations, you fucking did it on purpose.
With
15.
this,
It's a deception anyway.
with this, your interjection of the owlbear seems believable enough in the current situation. Well, okay. Is there anything? You said you saw goblins.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
That's odd. Goblins don't come this far south.
Yeah, they were further south.
Well,
There-
that's
there-
interesting.
There's an old dwarven mine. They were inhabiting.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we have the tail end of that mine over towards the mountains. He gestures up and away from over in the mountains. I believe that's one of the exits for it.
Yes.
Been a long time since I've had to deal with that, but yeah.
Yeah, we'd suggest staying away from there for now. We took care of majority of the goblins, but there's always a few that manage to escape. They shouldn't be any issue, but
Well, okay then. Right. I was paying you guys to take care of our owlbear problem and to look into it. Thank you. Was there a price I agreed to? I believe I was saying like most of the coins that we have. It's not much, but it's as much as we can thank you in our little village.
that's fine.
All right. I believe I had, and he then walks over to one of the other rooms, opens the door, and he kind of disappears into the room, and you can hear a clattering of a lock, and then the creaking open of a chest, and then a small amount of coins being skittered about. And with this,
Small.
he then comes back out with a coin pouch and says, "Well, I have as much as I can willingly give you. I got 10 gold coins, if that is enough. I know facing the owlbear might have been difficult."
That works.
Okay. He then gingerly picks up the bag and holds it out to you.
I'll take it.
And with that, he lightly places it in your hand, and he kind of eyes your hand as such in comparison to the others. And upon viewing your hand, it looks normal in comparison to the skeleton arm and the turtle arm. So he's like,
wink at him.
Okay. Well, I do have one question. This may seem out of the blue.
Shoot.
So, are there any more anomalies? Like maybe a tree that looks gnarled and doesn't really grow anything? Maybe looks dead?
Well, we're out of winter and the trees are springing up, so we saw plenty of trees that looked like that over winter, but
We're talking more unnatural, like almost
Like
infernal.
it looks like it doesn't ever grow plants, but it never seems, or grow leaves, but it never seems to die. if that makes sense.
With this, he kind of scratches his nose by taking his pointer finger and thumb and kind of rubbing on both sides. He then sits over by the edge of the couch, like on the armchair, and is pointed towards you guys. And so, an old dead tree, by the look of it, that doesn't seem to grow nothing and doesn't look right. He then takes a moment to ponder and kind of looks like a 1,000-yard stare up into the upper, like he's trying to look at his like he's trying to look at his eyebrows. I don't think I know of any tree like that.
Okay.
Not in the area. At least I don't go that much into the woods anymore, so there's not much I can tell you.
Do you have any foresters by trade here that we could maybe speak to?
Yeah, I have a Jonathan who's he's a hunter in the local area. He also picks up some berries, whatever he finds, every so often. But he largely is a hunter.
Okay.
Where does he live?
Oh, he lives over by. He's not across the stream, but he's over by the stream. Lives in a small shack towards the edge of the main village area.
Okay.
I'll turn to my companions and ask them if they have anything else for this gentleman, or if we can be on our way.
You don't have anything else for us? We don't have anything else at the moment.
Well, all right then. Again, thank you for your services, and thank you for helping out us over in Karn. If you want any drinks, tell them, put them on my tab. You get a round or so free. It's on me, as just an extra thanks.
Okay. Thank you.
Tip my hat to him. Mightily appreciated.
And he kind of shakily says, you're welcome."
Okay, let's go before you creep him out anymore. You're doing this on purpose at this point. Let's go.
All right.
I walk off with a stride.
Roll perception as you're leaving.
All of us?
Whoever wants to.
I got a 22.
Okay.
19.
19. All right, so with that, I will say that under Chief William's breath, you were able to hear, like, something was not right about that. Non-humans. Never can get them. Oh, well. And then he then closes the door behind all of you, since apparently you all lived in a barn and didn't close the door behind you. So with that, he closes the door, and then, with that perception as well, no more than 30 seconds later, as you're walking away, you hear him snoring. Absolutely.
I'll say while we're walking, wherever we're walking to, maybe the real reward was the friends we made along the way.
Oh, shut up.
As you did literally make 2 more. You gained more than you came back with.
This is
But
all.
anywho, what does the party want to do?
Did y'all want to investigate more about it to see if there's perhaps a tree,
Well,
like you described in the region? Do you want to all hit up that hunter, or y'all want to make our way to?
Actually, I recently came into a very disturbing discovery is that my God doesn't seem to be responded to me anymore, and I don't know what that means, and it's quite frightening.
Has that ever happened before?
Has it? Said DM.
It has not in your current travels. Usually you only did like quick fixes of saving a town, saving the day for 1 or 2 days in a row. And the most extended stay you've ever had was a 3-day trip. But you were in some form of contact with your patron, is it? Or just deity?
Let's just say patron.
Let's go with patron. So with that, your patron had sent messengers to you before saying giving you details of various missions and tasks to do. But this time around, it's been mostly silent.
Well, usually I get a message or two saying about what deeds I need to be doing or help or otherwise, but this time it seems to just be eerily quiet. And now, with a little bit of prayer, I didn't get a response from her, and now it's just complete silence. So I'm a little bit on edge about that, being honest.
maybe this place is bad news.
Maybe your job isn't done yet.
That is also a possibility.
Hmm.
Usually she lets me know if there's something else I need to be doing. The tree that I keep asking to go to also has a closer connection to her plane of existence.
Wait,
So
hold on. The evil tree has a closer connection to her plane. Is your deity evil?
no, not necessarily.
Who is your deity?
We all peer over listening for his response.
If I remember correctly, it's the Raven Queen, correct?
Correct.
Oh.
From Shadowfell.
So when you say you're sent on missions to save the day, what does that typically entail?
It means killing monsters, saving people, saving townsfolks. I'm always, as I've mentioned before, when I showed up in the first place, it's to help people. My god teleports me around to random places in the different planes, different worlds, and all sorts of places to correct the wrong.
Roll a history check for me at advantage, please, Deadeye.
19 on that first one. It's an 8 on the second one, so we're going to go with the 19.
So with that, as you begin to tell of all that you correct wrongs and do other things, you do remember that the messenger, as soon as the job was done, they always did a task and always tracked back to where the monster or whatever you had to help with or kill was. You don't always you only remember one instance where you were still nearby when they went over to the monster in question, but they held out a small teal glass jar with a cork in it. And then, from what you remember, you were able to see them put the bottle in front of them, and they did their work out of your point of view. So with that, that's what you remember from the side, but aside from that, mostly you got it all down correctly in your own mind.
So, shall we head off to see this hunter to see if he's home, or do y'all want to make our way up to the next town? Right away.
Actually, I was gonna say we're about halfway. Should we take a break?
Yep, we have just crossed over our 2-hour mark. So if anyone wants to go and take a break, absolutely. Let's take a 5 to 10 minute break at that point.
Okay.
Woo!
Ciao.
Revealing that I am a part of Shadowfell.
Sheesh. Okay.
I'm also very chaotic by nature, so that's why my entrance to everybody in person is always just a good old laugh.
Pretty sus.
Also, that's why I say it seems pretty homely whenever I look at the monster house, is because Shadowfell is a place full of monsters.
Okay.
Place I will
So with
still
that,
burn.
let's go ahead and go on our break. And slash
Okay.
play.
So, see you all
Yep.
in 5-10 minutes.
Yup.
Alrighty then. We'll be back, folks. Everyone's watching. Bless you.
Thank you. Oh, somebody's here. Oh, hello, guys.
Hello.
How are you?
So far, so good, I think.
I think that reveal was pretty awesome, actually.
Of the place being the place for the Monster Hunter character, or?
Well, that was pretty cool as well.
Okay. I'm up to the Raven Queen. I wasn't expecting it to be released that quickly or that early. About
Oh
what-
yeah, I was like not expecting it either, but I was like, you know what, I'll just let it naturally happen if it needs to be.
Okay.
Sam doesn't seem to like my character the way they're being as charismatically scary as they are.
No,
But
Sam
also-
doesn't.
Oh, hi. But I'd like to also mention that as a background, I still have Haunted One, which means that people, though they might fear me, commoners will extend you every courtesy they do to their utmost to help you. Unless you have shown yourself to be a danger to them.
Okay.
And it was either this background or oh, which other one was it? The Folk Hero.
All right.
But I decided to go with Haunted One, considering the background of where I come from.
Fair enough.
Let's just say Sam is not the biggest fan right now. If you had let her burn down the hut or the lodge, she would have liked you a whole lot more.
Well, I'm not here to be liked.
Hello.
Hello again.
Being liked, though, could be helpful.
Sorry, say that again?
Oh, so apparently, Ken's character is not here to be liked. Even if being liked is helpful.
And I have been helpful. Oh,
Depends
come
on. The
on.
sitch.
The sitch being a fuck ton of goblins.
Sample size is limited.
Yes, sample size is limited.
Oh, there goes the controller. Has anybody tried Elden Ring yet?
No.
Tiny bit.
Oh god, it's so good.
Tried what?
Elden Ring.
Elden Ring. New game.
Nope.
So good. Love the new Souls game.
If I may say, there is a growing trend I'm seeing amongst my players in both of my sessions. Y'all are freaking pyromaniacs.
Y'all really like
Hey.
ours.
Literally, I was like, listen, we don't need to burn down the place. The place hasn't hurt anybody thus far.
To be
the
fair,
monsters
burnt
would
down
say
a hut.
otherwise.
I didn't burn down a. Did I? That wasn't me. That was not me.
Yes, it was.
Yes,
Who was it?
Remember when you
What?
remember when you burned your hand with a piece of coal by holding it in your hands and lighting it on fire?
Mhm.
You burned down the hut that the map was in. when
Well,
you did
if
that.
we did, I did it with y'all's permission.
No.
No, you let the piece of coal on fire, it burned your hand, and you threw it, into
Real-
the hut.
Are y'all gaslighting me?
No.
Because I distinctly remember someone else burning down the hut
Okay, do we need
for
to go?
for undisclosed, incomprehensible reasons.
Okay, so these are all recorded. We
Mhm.
can go back to my channel and see.
If you send it to me, I'll take a gander.
I've
'Cause I'm
also
interested.
burnt down like a bunch of spider webs as well.
Fire is a good solution to many problems.
Okay,
To be
I am
fair.
going
To a
on to my
lot of
channel and I am
problems.
sending that to you because you need
Do you even remember which episode it was?
One of the first ones.
No, it's
No.
like
3 or
1 or 2
4.
ago. Because technically only
One
like
or two ago.
2 or 3 sessions ago, that's when we were playing the campaign. So it should only be an episode or 2 ago. Probably
Well-
3 at this point.
Okay, so it would be episode 6 since we're on 9.
Actually, no. Each section of that mine took almost an entire play session when you guys first entered it. And then after that, you guys finally descended into the depths, and that was a whole new thing. And then we had a hiatus for like half a year.
Okay, so we have
So it should be earlier on.
Episode 8 was the last one. That was getting out of the mine and into the spider's nest. Episode 7 was where we got to the end of the mine. Episode 8 is where we did the middle section of the mine. Or sorry, 6 would be middle section. 5 would be right. 5 would be when we went and did the left. Or sorry, when we went and did the right, because the left was part of, we went into the middle section, went up, and then did that. So that means it would be episode 4.
Approximately.
Okay. No, episode 4 starts where we're in the mine already.
Oh, yeah, 3. Huh. Okay.
Sheesh. That's a ways back.
Yeah. This isn't even like the longest one I've been with, right? Current one I am with is with a friend, and it's been going on for about 6 to 7 months now. And we haven't really missed a single session once, so it's just pretty impressive.
This has now been over the course of almost a year now, and we've missed a few sessions.
Mhm.
But anywho, are we just about ready to get back onto the game?
I am ready if everybody else is.
Sai,
Well, all right then.
who was it that burned it down? Sai or
It was Dargish that burned it down.
Allegedly.
Okay,
Nope, you did.
give me a second. I'm sending it to you so you can look.
Damn.
Cool. Thank you.
And it should have been relatively early on into the session. Because that's when you guys were trying to trek through the woods, got ambushed, and then you arrived at the place, and I said, okay, I have an option for you. Do you want to go in and have a theater of the mind, or have an actual place to be in? Like an actual dungeon. And then we called it there. And the session after that, which should be episode 3, was was when you guys first entered into the mine.
Yep.
Okay. Let me clear my palette real quick and we can get right back to it. So y'all want to go and visit the hunter and see what he has to say?
Yes.
Yeah.
He would know the woods around here the best.
Oh, all right. Let me get a quick drink and we can continue. Oh, and Zargish, those blue sky sodas you left here, awesome.
I know, right? They're
Yeah.
fantastic. You can get more of that same place for $2 for a 6-pack.
Neat.
And they're based in Atlanta too, which is
It was a blue sky soda of cane sugar, cherry vanilla, and naturally flavored with other natural flavors. It's a cherry vanilla cola, and it is the bomb.
I'll say, bro, I had a rum with some rum with one of those, and it was really good.
Oh
Very
yeah,
good.
I imagine this will be spectacular with a coconut rum.
I had it with the spiced rum, but to each their own.
But anywho, with this, the party has now decided to visit Jonathan the Hunter, who lives on the edge of town, not after the stream, but just before the stream. So with this, as you approach towards the end of town, you are able to see that there is a somewhat dilapidated hut. of mild patchwork on the roof that is mostly a thatch roof. But aside from this, you are able to see shambles of red tile, of red wood shingles, of like painted red wood shingles that are on the roof of this building. And some of the patches and otherwise, there is some thatching. With this, there is plaster that is looking in disrepair, as well as there is wood that is jutting in and out as the structure of this, as the support of this structure, and it looks to be like a building that's still able to be lived in, but kind of in disrepair. It's been used, it's been lived in a while.
Mm-hmm.
But with this, there is an old wooden door sitting on the front, and there is a small little set of stairs, a small set of stone stairs that reach up to about 4 steps, and then reach up to the main door. With this, what does the party wish to do?
Go knock on it.
Absolutely. As you begin to knock on the door, after about the 5th knock, you hear some footsteps coming towards the door. Sounds like there's wood flooring in there. So with this, the door opens most of the way, and you're able to see a hooded figure that has blonde facial hair of a small kind of handlebar mustache, and then a little bit of dirty blonde beard stubble on this man's chin. He says, "Can I help you?"
Howdy, my name is Deadeye. I am with the current adventuring group, but you heard
Is that a prosthetic arm?
Yes.
As he then points to your arm.
Yes
That-
and no.
Okay. Sorry to point that out real quick. It looks like a skeleton arm.
Indeed it does. Do you happen to know about a tree that looks kind of
Do I happen to know about a tree?
that's freakish in nature, kind of like jagged and doesn't seem living, maybe even undead of some type?
An undead tree.
Can I
Mhm.
explain a little bit better, if you don't mind?
Sure. And
It-
playing to intelligence.
We're looking for a tree that is, how do you say, it's one that doesn't bloom or grow leaves year after year. It, by all means, it looks like it should have fallen over or be dead. Very jagged with the edges, maybe a little unnatural looking.
With this, he opens the door a little more and kind of leans on it as it now is resting against the wall. He says, "Well, I can't exactly say I really know a tree like that, but like thorns and other things on it.
Yes.
Well, I know of a area of woods that has a lot of prickle bushes and like sharp trees and such, but aside from that, nothing that really fits that description, as most of them are evergreens, pine and such. But
It
a
would be
few-
pretty unearthly.
an
So
unearthly tree. Huh.
this area with the prickle bushes, where would that be?
It's over in the foothills by the world spine, but it's a little northeastish, northeast of the village. But are you familiar with the hunting cabin that's up in the woods?
I pull out the map I have of the area.
Absolutely. And that will be here.
Okay. And I told him we were up here previously. Where in the area would you say that these prickle bushes are?
Well, I would say, if I can mark on your map,
Mm-hmm.
around in this area here,
Okay.
northeast of the village, over the foothills and in the woods, over by some of the cliffs.
Okay.
I don't venture too far into those section of woods. Seen some weird things over there. I'm pretty sure I imagined a few things, but all the prickle bushes, many creatures don't like living in them, so I don't care for hunting in them.
What things did you imagine you saw?
Well, once or twice I could have sworn I saw someone looking at me across from a tree, but as soon as I looked at it, it was nothing. A squirrel? I was scared by a squirrel once or twice more than I'd like to admit. A squirrel leapt from a tree across the way and nearly scared the piss out of me. Pardon my language.
Squirrels are dangerous.
They can be if they go for your nuts. Ah! But
Okay.
anywho,
Thank you.
I
That
strong arm this dude.
but aside from that, I haven't seen anything too crazy out there. I knew I saw something once or twice, but I knew I was drinking that day, so probably not the best. Best take it with a grain of salt, I say.
okay. Well, we'll look in that area. Thank you for letting us know.
Right. Have a nice day. And he kind of dips his head a little bit. So, yeah, goodbye, I guess.
Thank you.
And then he slowly closes the door.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay.
Well, we have
Enlightening.
information.
So do y'all really want to check out? You think all that prickliness has to do with that tree? And even if it does, y'all really interested in it? Or do you want to head off to the, I don't know, where was it you were originally headed to?
We were originally.
Y'all said you were headed to the festival.
Yeah. We were originally headed to the festival. But I feel like if we don't investigate this and it comes out to be a problem later, we're gonna kick ourselves in the butt.
Question: what is this festival about? Since y'all are heading over there.
How to explain? It's just a fun festival, way to relax. At least that's what it's supposed to be.
One detail that you do recall is that it involves hogs.
Yeah. There's a circus.
H-O-G.
There's a
It
circus.
involves hogs, and then they're going to add a circus this year. First time in a long time.
Circus.
All right.
Hogs, yeah.
Well, that seems interesting. All right.
So, I mean,
would
the worst case scenario is we have a short walk in the woods where we have no problems. It can't take that long, can it?
And if this does turn out to be that gnarled tree, we chop it down. Because that way nothing more can come out of it.
Shall we be on our way?
Sure.
I'm gonna hold my tongue.
Yeah.
Okay.
You wouldn't let us burn down the flippin' thing. Let us chop down the tree if we find it.
Our quest for arson will be completed.
Not
That upsets me.
not
That upsets Deadeye.
not requesting to burn it down, requesting to chop it down.
Oh, you have to burn it. Even if you do it after you chop it down, it has to be burned. Otherwise, it could just
No,
sprout off
y'all are-
evil stuff. You never know.
Y'all are upsetting the order of things.
As the guy who literally is teleported in by his god to upset the order of things
No,
intentionally.
no, because that's what's happening. I'm bringing balance to what is already upset.
Uh-huh.
Well, let's see this tree. If I had to bet, it would be pretty. Being in its presence would be pretty upsetting. Shall we go on?
Yep.
Okay, then. Let
So
me
there
grab a
was there.
thing.
I'm sorry, I don't remember. Was there a road that he was able to mark?
He
Or we'll
marked
just have to
where-
make our way
There
through
is
the
no
woods.
Kinda,
road.
like head up the trail, next to the river, and then up through the forest.
Okay.
Okay, I see.
All
So
right.
along the river most of the way.
So, you wish to take a path along the stream river and go up that way, cross the foothills, and then into the woods to grandmother's house you go? Okay.
You had to say it.
But anywho, with that, with this, you are now able to depart. It's a little afternoon at this point, about 1 in the afternoon, and the sun is high in the sky. With this, you have plenty of daylight still left in the day, and you are able to make your journey over towards the woods. With this, you begin to follow along the stream, and you are then able to make your way over the foothills a little bit. Can I have everyone roll a Constitution check, please?
Constitution check.
Saving through?
Just check.
So you click the one at the top, not under saving throws.
Yep.
Ouch.
I will say look out for werewolves because he did say grandma's house.
Hey, Constitution check.
Again, the same thing I said earlier. With digital, you can't see my smirking face.
You're always smirking, bro. It's annoying, honestly.
Mean. Just mean.
He's mean to
This
me.
would not be a Constitution saving throw.
Die. You as well.
You just say die.
I said sigh.
Yeah.
Vardak, I need a Constitution save from you. Constitution check from you as well.
No, sorry.
All right. Everyone else seems to be kind of inhaling and exhaling at an increased rate and sucking wind. You, Vardak, however, are able to keep pace, climbing over these foothills, and you are able to see that it's not too bad a trek if you know how to keep your pacing and know when to extend your energy, and when to expel your energy. With that, those that rolled less than, well, yeah, I was about to say less than a 10. That's all of you. Everyone that rolled less than a 10, can I have you take 1 point of exhaustion?
Oh.
Yeah, bro.
So with
Yeah.
this,
This is to get us ready for the werewolf chase, so we can't run away fast enough.
Wow. 1 point of exhaustion.
it's not bad, but anywho, after about an hour or so trek through the hills in the hills surrounding Karn, you're able to see that there is a stretch of flat ground before it reaches over to a tree line, which then is bordering the foothills and then the very mountains of the World Spine Mountains. With this, what does the party wish to do?
Let's just either rest or keep going. We need to either figure out what this flippin' thing is, or
What time of day did you say it was?
It was 1 when you left. 2 hours through the hills makes it 3 o'clock.
And what was this is in summertime, right?
Spring.
Okay. So y'all want to, you said we're in a clearing, and the clearing eventually leads to a tree line onwards towards our destination.
You may take a short rest and get rid of the exhaustion for this, even though exhaustion only takes... Officially, exhaustion is only gone after a long rest, but with this one, because it was a skill check, I can just say, if you want to do a short rest, which will take another hour, which brings you another hour closer to darkness, you may, and get rid of the exhaustion.
Do y'all want to take a rest? What do you guys think? Is it a good idea to be going on to this? If this is the tree that we think it is, and if it is as bad as we, suspect it might be, would it be a bad idea to go at night?
It may, but at the same time, would you prefer being tired when we go against whoever we're going against? Or would you prefer being fully ready to go? On top of which, us sleeping out here in the dark, near whatever this monstrosity is, probably not the best idea.
So what do y'all want to do?
Honestly, I mean, a short rest is like an hour or less.
A short rest is 1 hour even.
A 1 hour even rest. I mean,
Yeah.
I have probably the best perception out of everybody here. I'll probably take point if you guys want to take that short rest.
Sure. I don't want to have levels of exhaustion, honestly.
Okay.
Well, I have one, but I don't give a damn. I'll be fine.
How many levels of exhaustion? What's the? There's no effect for the first level, right?
No, there is. It's disadvantage on saving throws.
Oh, that's pretty lame. Yeah, let's
And
take
then
a
it
nice nap.
builds up more and more the more exhaustion you
The
take.
worst you can get to is 6 points of exhaustion. At 6 points, you're practically dead.
Heck, if you want, even you don't have to keep a watch. You know, maybe inviting the evil to us, if we're that unlucky, might be. I think we're pretty strong. We could handle it.
Uh, Honestly, yeah, I really don't care because nothing could surprise me. So
Everybody else cool with him? Everyone else cool with us taking a short rest and not? Is short rest actually? You're not like unconscious. You're not taking a nap, right?
No,
You're just
you're just
resting.
no, you're just like
down.
you're
bottom
sitting
up.
down. You can read a book or
Okay.
like reloading your weapons or whatever or
You
shopping.
you can maintain vigilance while short resting. So that's good. We don't need a watch. Sure.
Yeah.
You're fine.
Short watch. We do.
Short
Where-
rest?
Where do you go to add exhaustion?
I
Oh,
was
you go to
looking at that.
conditions. I
It
see.
says conditions, and then you click it, and
I
then
see.
when you no longer have it.
Okay, I see it. I made a mistake on my saying the first effect is disadvantage on ability checks. It's 3 levels of exhaustion. You have disadvantage on attack rolls and saving throws.
Okay. So with that, everyone is now back up to full on their own. But with that, I want to go through and quickly go through people and see what they did on their own short break. Sam, what do you think your character did when you were doing a short rest?
Trying to look for any mentions of the of either of the trees in the huge monster manual, the
Okay.
15-pounder. And I'm also going to be looking for mentions of that other thing I messaged you about.
Absolutely. Quickly roll investigation for me.
13.
Towards the back of the book, after skimming through page after page, doing this for most of an hour, for the most part, you find nothing of use until the end of the book. At the end of the book, you see a page that gives a similar illustration to or rather, it gives an illustration that you have seen for the first time. With this illustration, it shows a jagged tree with a twisting, curving stalk. With this, you can see that there are twisting limbs every which way, sharp, jagged thorns, and you are able to see the label of Vile Anchor. Towards the end of the book, and nearly the last pages, you are able to read a description that gives largely the description that was said earlier, of it is basically an anchor that can allow evil into the world. It was a place of a great atrocity at one point, and it was sprouted by dark gods that decided that's a significant marker. They kind of put a pin in it. I'm just saying that like outside of the thing to give a kind of reference of the gods. They put a pin in it, and like that was a particular spot. That is where enough energy is to make an anchor point into the world. With the Vile Anchor, it connects into several planes, all of which are considered negative in some aspect, such as the Shadowfell, the Planes of Hell, and it also arcs through a neutral plane of the elements, and then through a neutral plane of the Void. And then, at the very end, it makes mention of Nowhere.
Okay.
So now you see a visual description for the first time of what a Vile Anchor looks like.
Okay.
And with this, there is a subsection beneath that says, in the Diergheim Fortress, there is the first Vile Anchor. With this, there is a quotation that says, after we first discovered the first of the Vile Anchors, we decided to set up our stronghold there, where we could defend it, or rather, protect against it, and have vigilance over any entry for any beast or any foul being that enters our world. And it reads Captain Bargain Shortspringer. Short Sprieger, sorry.
Did you say Burgund? Like Jurgen's mind?
almost like that, but not the same name.
Okay.
It is
Okay.
Regan. Sorry.
It's okay. So that
It was
could
a captain, sorry.
that could explain what the uh flippin' hut was, or lounge, not lounge,
Lodge.
lodge. Yeah, the lodge was created for. They knew this thing existed and they wanted to protect against it.
So you're saying that that fortress or that lodge we were at was there to protect against, either to protect against what was coming from that tree of life or life anchor, or to protect people from it, protect it, or to protect from it.
Maybe a
Is that what
bit
y'all
of
think?
maybe a bit of both, depending on what we find up here.
Hmm.
The fact that he kept saying he saw things, and this says that we can that things come through from other dimensions. I'm not liking that. I'm not liking that at all. It sounds like maybe he was actually seeing something that had come through.
Well, if something came through, and that means we can take care of it.
Maybe.
So during my 1 hour, we're right next to the river still, right?
Yes.
Before we head across the clearing, I want to go and just muck around on the riverbank, kind of like leisurely, meandering, looking at the ground, looking if there's any paw prints or any markings on the mud of the stream.
Roll perception for me.
Mm-hmm. Takes a second to find it. There it is. Come on. I rolled a
What?
9.
With this, you are able to see recent paw prints that are still kind of fresh into the mud and dirt. They are relatively small. If you had to guess, they were probably a rabbit or some medium sized creature.
Cool.
Probably a fox or some other small animal. But aside from that, not much else can be seen. So, Deadeye, what are you doing your short rest?
I am going to be cleaning my gun and trying to see if I can make more bullets.
Absolutely. Bullets, I will have to say you will need smithing tools unless you have a very specific tool set for that already. And
I come with it as a start of the class.
okay, and what is that tool set?
I believe it is literally just smithing weapons.
Okay.
Or no, it's tinker's tools. Sorry.
Okay.
And I believe it just immediately gives me proficiency, so that way I'm allowed to just use it.
Okay. I would have to say that you would need a forge if you wanted to melt objects into usable material.
Yeah, like I'm not looking to create the silver bullets as I've mentioned before.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, here we go. Gunsmith. You gain proficiency with tinker's tools. You can use them to craft ammunition at half the cost, or repair firearms or create new ones. Oh, I can just create new firearms.
Depending, yeah.
But no, I'd just like to craft another like 10 bullets if I can.
10 bullets out of what?
See what I got. As far as my backpack has, I came with 20 arrows. I'll break the tips of the arrows and then craft them into bullets.
I would say that works well enough for kind of like flechette rounds.
Yeah, I'll just subtract 10 from them.
All right. I would say that you can convert 10 of the arrows into 5 bullets.
Okay. 3, 4, 5. That's good. That put me back up quite a bit. I'm happy now.
All right. So with that, is that all you're doing during your 1 hour break?
I believe that will all I will need to be doing.
Okay, so Vardak, what do you think your character is up to during this 1 hour break?
Where exactly are we? at this
You
exact
guys
moment?
are currently along the river, kind of up on the hill here, before you go into the clearing and then into the tree line.
I'm just gonna look around and see if I can find anything interesting.
All right, so you'd like to do an investigation check of the local area?
Yeah.
All right, you go on a nice little walk, and please roll a investigation check for me, or just perception. Actually, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. 27.
All right, with that perception, you are able to see small patches of wildflower. You can also see that in one of the beds of wildflowers, it looks like something dug a little hole to make a little den for itself in a little nip in the uh, earth, as well as it kind of goes into the hills a little bit. Possibly a rabbit hole? Okay. Well, aside from that, you see a lot of the local scenery, which is tall, rolling hills covered in long grass, some patches of wildflowers, and aside from that, you get a nice view of the plains ahead. More and more hills, trees along the side, and on the right side, you're kind of looking in the northwest ish direction. You are able to see, towards the east, you are able to see the arcing mountains of the world's spine. And with this, you are able to see mountains that reach well into the clouds and above, and you can see that they are gargantuan in stature. With this, an overall lovely sight. You're able to feel a cool breeze on the wind, nice and crisp in the afternoon air. All right. So with that, I would say the short rest is over. What does the party now wish to do?
Heading forward, I believe. Right?
Yeah, let's jaunt across the clearing and head towards our destination, I suppose.
Through the hills, through the plains, into the woods, to
bro.
grandmother's house you go. Okay.
That was loud.
So with this, can I have everyone roll perception as you are now packing up your things, getting ready for going across the plain? Can I have everyone roll perception, please?
Another 27.
My rolls are just great today, man.
Okay.
Y'all rolls are doing good.
Everything seems to be normal. The trees wave a little bit in the wind. The grass flickers like waves across the plains. And with this, nothing seems to be amiss.
Even to the 27?
right. Even to the 27, nothing seems
Okay.
to be amiss.
There ain't nothing wrong, Sam.
Doesn't
Well,
mean I'm not on
alright.
guard.
Ooh,
Casually strolling.
Okay. Now, going forward, you are able to cross the plains with no issue, as you have now parted away from the stream and are now walking directly towards the woods. You can see that there are patches of wildflower such as before, but some of the grass is a little shorter. Some of the grass is a little less green, some of which turns to yellow in some patches, but aside from that, the pines ahead are evergreen. And you now enter the woods. All right. Now, with this, after passing the plains for about 20 minutes, just walking across the plain, you can see now that you are inside the canopy of the trees alongside the World Spine Mountain. With this, after about another 30 or so minutes, it is now roughly 5 in the afternoon as after the hour break, the 20 minutes passing through the plains, and now 30 minutes into the woods, it is now beginning to be 5 p.m., roughly. So with this, the sun is now not as high as it was in the sky. It's not sunset yet, but it's about the late afternoon, judging by the sun, from what you can see through the trees.
Mm-hmm.
Now with this, can I have everyone roll a perception check again?
Oh dear. 15.
13.
11.
In Zurgish? Zargish.
I haven't rolled higher than a 10 all day today.
Getting out all the crap rolls first. All
Let's
right.
hope.
So with this, as you venture into the woods, you notice that the birds aren't chirping nearly as loudly or nearly as blissfully as they were before. With this, you can hear the wind arcing through the trees, and it doesn't howl, but you can hear almost whispers on the wind. Nothing in any form of language, but little curls and twists in the wind seem to play tricks on your mind.
I know I say it a lot. I really don't like this at all.
Might as well become a catchphrase for you.
I mean, this is all pretty out of the ordinary, to be fair. I've never seen anything like this before in my life.
Absolutely. And now, after the 30 minutes of wandering into the woods, now the sun is a lot less visible. There is a lot more shade underneath canopy of trees. You can see going into the woods, there's no real beaten path. You can see that many of the evergreens, they sprout up and out. Some of which the trees are a little jagged in some areas, but that's to be expected with pine. They all reach high up, roughly about 50 feet into the air, many of these trees, easily. Some taller, some smaller. With this, much of the canopy is a little bit above 10 feet into the air, where the beginnings of the branches lay. You can see that there is a small variety of dried pine needles littering the ground, making crunching sounds everywhere you step. And with this, can I have everyone roll another perception, please?
I'm gonna
21.
have the crossbow ready. I know I rolled a 6, but I'm still having my crossbow ready that if I see an abomination or something, I'm firing.
Okay. And, Deadeye, can I take you to the GM side room real quick?
Absolutely.
I'll be right back. One moment, please.
I think you might have offended Deadeye.
Is it because you said the slur word abomination?
Yeah.
Oops.
How insensitive.
Well, either way, when I say, y'all know that when I say abomination, I mean not members of our party.
Yeah, we're on the same page. It's a perspective thing. He's really good at playing in character.
Oh, shit.
You okay?
Yeah, I just knocked something over.
All right, guys, I'm leaving. I'm dead. It's cool. See y'all later. I'm joking.
Dead instantly, smote like none other. You see a toasted marshmallow next to you. Just kidding. All right. So,
I mean, don't raise my hopes.
Oh.
Damn.
the meat falls right off the bone, and the bone falls right off the body.
And then the bone crawls away.
Ew.
Ribs, yeah.
But anywho, as you begin to walk around, you see that there are plenty of dead pine straw lying on the ground. Each of you, with each of your footfalls, are able to step on pine straw and have little crunching sounds. There are some twigs strewn about, but now you're in an area where there's a bit more bushes and a lot more flora. Deadeye, you feel a presence behind you, and then, as you begin to turn around, you hear, excuse me, may I ask
the gun?
here? And as you all begin to turn around, you see an old familiar face. You see Bargund, the werebear druid, of which none of you heard his footfalls, but all of you heard his voice. Let me find his picture real quick. It moved on me.
Hey, hold on. Is this the same man's from like so long ago?
From Session Uno.
Good lord.
That was a while ago.
Yeah, man. This guy has been forever.
Picture. Where did it go? Oh, wait, I have him under a whole section. Here we go. Before you, you see a large man who is currently shirtless. He wears a simple set of brown trousers. He has a very hairy body overall, but he does have a few straps of hemp rope around him that are currently holding onto bottles, pouches, and other things. And with this, big old feet, this guy is easily 7 feet tall. He kind of seems to have his fingers curled around each other, and he's kind of looking around a little, kind of scared and such. Like, do you guys know where you're going? I know I said I'd keep an eye out on you. That's why I'm here. What are you doing over here?
We're looking for a.
Y'all know this man?
Yeah, he's helped us before. He's a friend.
All right. I put the gun down now.
I've never met this guy. Who the heck is he?
Who has it? Sorry.
Oh, my
okay.
name is Bargund the Druid. Nice to be meeting your acquaintance. And he does like a kind of awkward curtsy, and then he does a little bow, and he then kind of perks his head up and like, no, that's not right. My name's Bargund. He then extends his hand, and his fingers are outstretched, and it's kind of like an awkward handshake where he doesn't really know what he's doing with the handshake. He's like, but my name is Bargund. Nice to meet you.
I
Yes.
go right up to this man and I handshake him and like, "It's nice to meet you."
Nice to meet you too. And then, as he's shaking your arm, he then kind of accidentally yoinks on it, and it goes a little, just kind of a popping sound. It's like, oh, I'm sorry, I took off your arm. Does that go back?
Yep, it does go back. And then I reattach it and I'm like, "It's nice to meet you. My sister's a druid."
Oh, I might have heard of her. Where's she been?
She's down by the Bogish area. Her name's Clea Windborn.
Oh, over by Swiftwater and Mirkwood?
Yeah, Spores Druid. You know her? Fits.
Oh, wow.
No, seriously. I'm not even joking. The whole town knows her by that.
Well, I'm aware of someone, but I never would have gone to that description. But I've heard of her, but never met her. But do you guys know where you're going?
We're headed up to the Dead Tree.
The Dead Tree?
Mm-hmm. You know, the Vile Tree.
Vile Tree. Nothing
Unless
in
you're-
nature is inherently evil. I don't know what you're talking about being a vile tree.
Well, it was created by evil gods to mark an evil deed, so it's nicknamed Vile.
Well, I guess that explains why none of the animals really like coming up here. Never really thought to venture out here myself, but I just know I don't like the place.
So what are you doing following us? How long have you been trailing us?
He said he would.
Well, I kept an eye on you guys for a while, so I guess by trailing you, I just had eyes on you, but ever since you guys entered this section of woods and then left town.
You guys do realize he said he'd be keeping an eye on us to help us.
I had
Oh,
no idea
did
that
he?
there was a person even watching us.
That's pretty
to be
creepy.
honest.
No wonder we felt so unnerved.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to scare you or nothing.
Sure, you were so scared, Sam.
He didn't scare me. It's a flippin' lodge. The Hunter's Lodge.
You went up to the hunting lodge?
And we stayed there for a night.
Okay. Were the hunters there?
No,
they've been
Completely
gone
abandoned.
for about 7 months.
With this, everyone, please roll insight.
I know. I already know.
16.
16.
There I go, rolling below a 10 again. Who could have seen that coming?
All right, so Sam and Vardak. Oh, actually, no, as well as Deadeye. You are all able to see kind of like a little bit of. There's a little bit of cloudiness behind his eyes after the mention of this hunting lodge. He's like, I just know I don't like going up there. Yeah,
Well,
it's not a place I like to go.
makes sense.
Uh,
They're all gone, so don't have to worry about it
You're gone?
for about
Oh,
6-7 months.
As was stated beforehand.
okay. Well, that's good. Explains why there's a lot more people around, or I say people, but more critters around, as many of you would say. But,
Livestock is what some other people would say.
well, no, not domesticated folks. I mean, like wild folks. Wild critters. More forest critters in the woods and such.
I see what you mean.
Especially in that area. They used to hunt a lot, but they, as much as they did hunting, and you hear a kind of sniffle in his voice, as much as they did hunting, they did enough protecting. Well, anywho, but you're looking for a vile tree over this
Yeah.
way?
Show her the picture. Show him the picture.
I pull out the book, flip to the picture, and show him.
Well, I might just say I can't read.
Well, no, I'm showing them the
No,
picture.
we're showing the picture.
Yeah, but I see the picture. I see the tree. It just looks like a dead pine tree, but it doesn't look right.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. It's not supposed to.
Yeah, but have
look
you
right.
seen this kind of tree?
Mm,
Because it's honestly, I mean, it's in particular, like, we're talking about what looks like. Does it say undead flesh as, like, what the tree kind of looks like?
no?
No, I'm asking you, DM.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. No, it doesn't say undead flesh.
Okay.
Twisting, juttering bark, some thorns, sharp vines, and other such botanal aggression. Aggressive botany features. Botanical features. My bad.
Botanical.
Botanical, basically just aggressive looking plants.
Okay. Just, like, I don't know, anything like this around.
Like I said earlier, I just don't visit this section of the woods. None of the critters like it. They say they see a few things here.
What do they see?
Like,
Well, some say people, some say. Well, they haven't seen too much outside of people and the other critters they know, so they saw something they didn't like. It walked on two legs, depending, and they all said they saw different things in the area.
okay, so we're talking about a bipedal creature, so can look towards something of that nature.
Some say the trees move, but I'm able to manipulate nature, but I don't know if anything else can.
Well, anything unnatural or undead or necrotic in some form or fashion can absolutely bend nature to its will.
Nothing necrotic out here. We keep good eyes on that. Nothing necrotic, I can say that much at least.
Okay.
There's a certain taste in the air if it ever is necrotic.
Surprised you didn't taste me.
Well, I did taste you as I was coming up on you. I knew you weren't. I don't want to say I did. I don't want to say that. I don't want to say that. He then kind of gestures at you and say, "Well, I already tasted half of you as I was coming up, just on the air, but you are fell touched, yes?
Indeed so. A good taste.
Beauty's in the eye of the beholder, I think I once heard. But I knew you tasted funny just walking up on you. Especially with the lack of arm.
Indeed. Would you be wanting to come up with us just in case if there is something up? At least then you can at least do your job as a druid to cleanse the forest of any evil.
Well, I see this picture. You're coming up this way just for a tree, so it's not any old tree. Can one of y'all read this to me?
I
I'll
start
read it to
reading
him.
it.
All right. So with that, you can then state that there are these vile anchors. They are every so often in the world. They basically they are areas where atrocities were committed in some way, shape, or form by some vile being. Something came into being on the mortal plane there, or otherwise just a vile atrocity happened. And they can be anchors in which beings from other planes can be anchored into the mortal plane. So basically, we can just kind of hand wave that saying you said that.
Hmm.
Well, that kind of sounds bad. But I remember going up to the cabin once, and there was a tree that was like that, but the opposite. Is that anything to worry about?
That is the other nature of it. It is called a life anchor instead of a vile anchor,
That's a good tree.
which
Very, very
it
good
leads
tree.
to celestial planes and other such.
Okay. So, when you go up to this vile anchor, what do you plan to do?
We, as much as it may pain us, we may have to get rid of it because it would be harming the forest, the animals, and bringing out monsters or abominations or a bunch of different things from other planes.
Well, I don't know about them. They're going to destroy it. I'm going to go commune with it.
Commune. You can commune with nature?
More like it connects to the Shadowfell plane in which my patron is from, and I haven't gotten a word from her since I came back to the mortal plane.
I thought that according to what y'all were reading in the text y'all found, that it was kind of a one-way street sort of a deal.
It seems like a one-way street, but hey, the closer the plane of a connection, the closer you can talk to other gods. It's hard for them to try and reach from other planes of existence when they're from somewhere else.
Are you going to come and help us out, or are you going to keep stalking us a half mile behind?
Well, that really depends on what you plan to do with the tree when you find it. Because
What
if
would
it's as
you...
evil as you say and it's like an anchor, I imagine that it's rooted deep. You would need to completely rip it out of the ground or completely obliterate it.
Mm-hmm.
You're strong, aren't you?
I reckon I am, but ripping trees out the ground is not really my... There's a word for it.
Forte.
I guess that's the one, yeah.
There's always fire.
Yeah. No. No, we don't want to burn the forest down. Things live here, even though they're not my critters or any ones that I know, but still, we don't want to destroy their homes.
Yeah, one of them, what do they call it?
Hold
Mouthing
on.
warblers?
Hold on. Real quick. Anyone hearing those crows and they suddenly went silent?
I think that was just the
Music?
I think that was just the audio.
Okay, I've had DMs who they use the audio in that way. And if you
Okay,
don't
I
know
don't-
it,
As I said, everyone please roll perception.
You fucking son of a bitch. Alright.
oh no, that's a 6.
12.
18.
All right. So with that, I just need Zargish and... Yeah, just Zargish ones.
18.
You, Zargish, and you, Deadeye, as well as Bargund, you hear a creak of wood. What was that?
I pull out the gun and point it at the direction of the sound.
Ah,
I turn the direction he has his gun pointed with my crossbow.
We're in the trees already, right? Yeah.
they're in the trees. But anywho, Bargund then turns in the opposite direction of which you allegedly heard the sound. You can see him perking his head left and right, and then up. I know we heard that, but I don't think that's anything.
Sounded like a tree creaking. Now
I
I know
know.
that we're surrounded in a forest, but I really mean like creaking.
Is the wind blowing?
It was not.
You
Hmm.
said that some of the critters said they saw trees moving?
Wait, hold on. Didn't you read a thing in the book about a tree?
Is it
Which
possible that this
one?
depiction of the tree,
I don't know. It was one of the several pages that.
okay, in this depiction, it shoots above the ground?
There were a couple that looked like they had their roots above the ground, and
Is there
including, like,
any
a
reason to
tree
believe?
troll.
Is there any? Yeah. Is there any reason to believe that this tree is actually not a tree, but in fact a mobile tree?
I want to look.
Mobile trees?
I want to look up.
Roll perception at disadvantage.
Fudge. Okay, I'm aiming my crossbow up as I look. Darn it! I rolled a 19.
With this, you see trees of oak and pine,
Darn it.
the leaves of which are evergreen, and the oaken leaves of which have turned green, nothing of which seems to be out of place.
Seem
I'll turn to
I'm gonna be honest.
Bergund. I'm gonna ask him, why is it again that you don't like this place? You haven't visited it before?
The critters
what-
don't like this area, and I typically just stick with them. Yeah, I'm protecting them, so if they're not there, then I have no reason to be there.
You
Most
said
of
you
the time.
could speak to them or communicate with them.
Yeah,
Did they ever tell you why they didn't like it here?
I said earlier they saw a few things they didn't like. They saw what they thought were humans. However, from their description, it didn't really fit that.
Well, I know this place is creepy, but I suppose it's better to probably keep moving on instead of sitting in one place.
That's probably a good idea. He then
Hold
sniffs
on.
the air.
He sniffs the air.
He sniffs the air with a long, hearty intake of breath. All right,
I pause.
we are downwind.
I pause everyone for a moment.
Yes.
Pull out. Keep the book out, and I flip to where the tree troll is.
The tree troll. It is a very interesting creature in which it uses almost natural camouflage and hides inside the canopies of trees. Its long legs and arms, however, look to be that of tree trunks. That, or it often attaches loosened bark onto its limbs to appear more like a tree. It can also use simple tools to tie, or rather to wrap, vines and other plant life around the limbs to give more of an image of a tree, depending upon its limbs and its natural colorations. Typically, they come in various forms of brown, and some as a light beige, some of which have a green depending upon the region in which they are from.
What does it say their weakness is?
Their weakness, they have they are typically not so happy when they get chopped with axes and such. Axes have a +4 mechanically damage bonus to them, regardless of if it hit good or not.
Ooh.
So axes and fire are their greatest no-nos.
Okay. I can do the fire if have to be. I don't like this.
Keep the fire to a bare minimum, though. At least try to.
Yes,
My
yes,
fire-
please. I don't want to burn down the forest.
My fire doesn't harm anything but what it hits. It doesn't catch things on fire. It just hurts them.
It's a thing that makes fire but doesn't have fire?
It's magical
Or-
fire.
Okay, I don't know too much on the magic front, but yeah, I'll take your word at it.
Shall we continue onwards?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's keep a watch out, y'all. Look. I'd say look in the trees.
And hear if they speak Vietnamese.
Mhm.
Ah,
God damn.
Ooh.
I have been waiting for that. God. Okay.
Finally.
But anywho, as you begin to walk through the woods, you are able to hear, as you are walking, each of your own set of footsteps of crunching and crackling of pine straw.
Can I take
You
a
are,
stealth check to try to be quiet?
you certainly may try.
17.
17. With that, I would say your footfalls are a lot quieter than everyone else's. But
I'd like to do the
roll
same.
perception alongside that stealth check now that you have lessened your own.
Hey, Zargus, same here, brother.
So Kin and Zar also rolled high, but I just rolled a 15 for perception.
With that, as I said a minute ago, you noticed that there were 4 sets of footprints, or rather 4 sets of sounds of feet hitting the ground. There's 5 of you. You notice as you turn that every time Bargund places his foot down, there is no sound at all across the pine leaves or pine straw that is around the ground.
How do you do that?
I'm sorry, you talking to me?
Yes. How do you stay so quiet?
Lots of practice. If you didn't know, whenever you step on grass, grass feels it, and it causes them pain. But I'm also doing well, because of my size, you can imagine I'm quite heavy. So if I step on grass, the grass will feel it. So I'm doing a druidic kind of spell, I guess is the word you call it, but I use a certain piece of druidic where I'm able to move, and I guess
You simply levitate.
not levitate. No, that's not the right word. I transport through plants, and I can. I know it's a telly word. If I, I'm sorry.
Hold on, my sister told me something about this, and I'm trying to remember if I can remember what it's called.
Roll history. You remember her telling you something about teleporting to certain plants upon observation and then willing yourself over to a certain set of plants.
It's teleport via plants or whatever the hell it is. It's so long as you've been into a certain place, you can teleport between 2 sets of plants.
Yeah, the name of it's Vine Walker, but the action you said teleport, right? That's the word I guess the city folk use for it. I use the Vine Walk and just go every which way. But now, after words have been exchanged, everyone roll perception.
Oh dear. Oh, now it's bad.
18.
Okay, where that got us?
Come on, Vardak, come on.
Vardak, you are able to hear a creak of wood. It seems to come from your right area.
I'm gonna quietly point in that direction.
Absolutely. And with that, as you can see, as you begin to look around, one particular tree looks to have roots that seem to jut just above the ground, most of which seem to go along the ground, but at one point, it looks like one of the roots kind of arcs up a little bit and then goes into the ground. Many of the roots on this set of trees look to be kind of strewn about on the surface as well as going into the ground.
Those don't look like normal roots, do they?
Roll a nature check.
16.
How far away are they?
Well, tree roots come out the ground and sprout into a tree. They're doing that. They kind of look like tree roots.
Shall we keep on walking while we while you stare at them and see if they do anything unexpected? I presume he's he points it out, and we all see, and we kind of look in the same direction, right?
Yeah, everyone's able to look in the same direction after he points it out.
Mm-hmm.
But then, everyone hears a creak of wood now coming from their left.
I want to look up.
Roll perception at disadvantage.
That's alright, probably. No. Oh, you gotta be effing.
Wow.
Anywho.
You know what? I'm also gonna do the same thing just because it's like, okay, she keeps looking up. What the hell is she trying to look for?
Absolutely, you may.
23 out of 14.
With this, as you begin to look up, you can see that in the wind you hear a light rustling of the trees, and you can see that the trees are rustling in the wind, shaking and swaying gently. And with this, you hear more and more creaks of wood as all the trees seem to arc in the wind. A creak to your left, a creak to your right, above on your left, above on your right, to your forward, to your center, to behind you. The trees are creaking, in motion with the swaying of the wind.
Yo, this is not okay. I'm gonna stop and just be like,
Very unnatural.
something is wrong right now. We should make a defensive circle.
Well,
I
we're
think
right.
we need to keep moving forward, but being very cautious. I think what we had going with the stealth was good, but I think we need to keep going until we can make it.
If I may, wind in this area is not uncommon. We're right by the world spine. There's going to be wind coming down from the mountains. The hot air rises, but the cool air from the peaks of the mountain come down the mountainside every so often. So having wind isn't too unterribly common. But...
Shall we move a bit faster, perhaps?
Okay. All right. So with this, after another 30 minutes of traveling through the woods, it is now roughly around 7 in the evening. The sun has started to set. The sky is a light orange with hints of pink and purple, and you can see that the clouds are beginning to cover in the sky. There is only roughly about another hour or two of light left. What does the party wish to do?
Y'all want to try to continue on and hopefully get to this tree or whatever is out there before
It's-
nightfall?
It's not safe to stay in one spot. We should keep moving.
That sounds true. The rest of yous, you agree?
Yeah.
So keep moving.
Are the
Is
woods here the
party-
same?
I'm sorry?
Are the woods here the same as all the rest of the woods?
So far, it largely is containing the same amount of pine straw as well as some of the trunks of trees and all of this. It looks largely the same as it has been before. However, more and more undergrowth has been seen as going further and further into the woods. Some of the bushes begin to have spiky leaves.
Have we seen any critters at all?
None. You have not seen a bird. You have only heard crows.
Onwards we go then?
Onwards you may go. Now, with this in the setting sun, you can see that as you look around, there wasn't a whole lot of light coming in before, as the canopy of trees was thick as you were entering into this section of the woods, and it gets only thicker. Excuse me. And now the sun is in its setting stage, so less and less light is pouring through the canopy in every subsequent minute you are walking. And with this, the wind picks up again. The trees creak, the wind howls. More and more trees sway in the wind, creaking and rustling heard all around. Go ahead.
Who here has dark vision?
Where would I find that?
don't.
Features and traits?
Yes, I believe so.
I don't think I do.
Let's see.
Nope.
I know I have dark vision. Yeah, it's under racial traits typically. Okay. So none of y'all have.
No.
No.
Where would we be on the map? Like how far from this place now?
So now you are all approximately, I'm going to change the color of this one. You are all currently a little bit further into the woods. So you are all about now here. Because you entered here and you have made your trek, if I can find freehand, you have made your trek into the woods, around the bend, around that rock, and then up to here. So you are approximately there.
So would it take us, you say, about another hour to get to the orange circle?
It will be, yes.
I'm-
It has now been about 2 hours of trek from the first green circle to the second. So I can mark that as a little blue line of you left at 1, took you 2 hours to get here, so it's 3. 1 hour to cross the field and get into the woods, and then another hour in here, and second hour in there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we should be at 6 and 7 about here. The sun has now set.
I'm going to cast Comprehend Language.
Ooh, interesting.
Okay.
I don't know what's around us, but I don't trust. There hasn't been any animals but crows. However, if we hear crows, they may be saying something.
It's a not half bad idea.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I have you quickly roll a history check, Sam, with that idea?
13.
With that 13, you do recall that there was one particular passage inside of the tree troll. They were equated to ravens in a way that they can mimic some sounds.
I tell everyone this.
One of their favorites is crows.
Yeah, I tell everyone. And tell them be on guard. Things are about to get sketchy.
Doesn't sound too off far from the Raven Queen.
The Raven Queen? Who's that?
It's my god patron thing.
You have a patron? Oh,
Mm-hmm.
are you? There's a word for it. You
I'm not a warlock.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
not a warlock.
Okay then. I know my hair is standing on edge while out here. I can see why the critters don't like it. And if I may ask the party, there is only about 30 minutes until our closing time. Would we prefer to get as far as we physically can, or have this as a pretty good bookmark and then start fresh and, fresh the next time?
To y'all.
I like the bookmark.
I'm good with bookwork.
I'm good with bookmark.
Absolutely. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of our session for this week. Any questions, comments, or concerns that I might be able to address?
Nope, not really. Have
Nope.
fun.
Yes,
Good. Good to hear.
Cool.
Okay, with that, I do have to head off. So